this week's episode of Campbell and Jones Meet the Monsters, the podcast we chart the cinematic legacy of the classic monsters. I'm John Campbell. With me, as always, Brendan Jones.
John, how do you spell shit sandwich? I think it's, let me look it up. Dracula, Roman numeral 2
colon
Ascension.
You really committed to that bit of spelling out the whole thing.
I did. I was like, do I keep going or do
what
I
I
stop
like
here?
is once you got past the Roman numeral, you kind of had to, you know?
Yeah, I was like, crap. Because Dracula does not spell shit sandwich. Dracula is a great character. Truly immortal, eternal.
He's our boy on this show, right? I mean, I would say he's sort of the favorite of this show. Yeah, we love Dracula. And when he's done right, there are a few characters better in the history of pop culture.
And when he's done wrong, it's a blonde British guy strapped to
the whole time watching it, because we are talking about, what is this, 2003's Dracula 2 Ascension. This is the sequel to Dracula 2000.
I saw people in the reviews on this going, it's not really a sequel. And I'm like going, it includes footage from the previous movie.
It is also,
that makes it a sequel.
It's the same writer-director, and who will direct the third part. This is a trilogy with a singular vision,
and that vision is shit.
No, but here's the thing about this is, all of a sudden, that's how bad this is. All of a sudden, I'm going, can I go back to Dracula 2000? That movie's horrible, but this one is somehow worse, and I can only imagine Dracula 3 Legacy will be even worse based on this trajectory.
Well, this literally does end on a "we'll see you next time."
Well, because apparently they filmed
them at the same time.
They filmed at the same time, and at some point during production realized they had enough material to do that. It was just planned to be a sequel, and then they go, wait a minute, if we kind of move this here, do that, we can get a third movie out of this.
People who should sue about this film, besides everyone that's in it.
Yep.
I'd say Wes Craven should sue because he had nothing to do with this, and his name's on it.
What's crazy is, and I don't know if this is very rare. Wes Craven presents, it says, but then he's not even like a credited producer or anything.
No, it's just leftover from Wes Craven presents Dracula 2000.
I know, it's so funny to me though that it's like, it's because usually so and so presents is like, and then it's like co-executive, supervising, consulting producer.
And I think Richard Branson should sue because the previous film had hurt the Virgin label so much. This film doesn't even get Virgin Megastore appearances in it, which means they also didn't get any extra money. Dimension saved a lot of money on this one because it looks like shit.
Well, I'll tell you, I've got let me see. What was let me compare the budgets here because I had the budget on the last one, I think, which was listed $54 million for Dracula.
Was for Dracula
2000.
Right.
This one, $3.2 million.
Yep.
And this thing shot. This is over on my other podcast, The Action Shelf. This movie shot entirely in Romania. That's a real, but doubling for New Orleans. Shooting a Dracula movie in Romania could totally work. Not when it's set in New Orleans.
Jesus Christ, this movie.
Every time they reminded me it was set in New Orleans, I had to go, oh, right, because it looks nothing like that at all.
Well, I'll say that the first one really, they didn't do anything to really suggest New Orleans.
Well,
then Renfield didn't do much to suggest. It's like, guys, if you're going to set, and it's a great atmospheric city to put a vampire in.
It's very Southern Gothic, right?
Like, and it's also, thanks to Anne Rice, people now associate vampires with New Orleans. So if you're going to put Dracula in New Orleans, and also I'm looking at you, son of Dracula, which put him in the Louisiana swamps. Oh
God, yeah.
How about actually going there?
Well, the thing, of course, and that has to do with money, is at least, and like I said, that's how bad this is. That I'm starting to defend Dracula 2000 on any level. Is going like, remember they built that like one street corner of Bourbon Street set? Yeah. That's light years ahead of any New Orleans depicted in this movie.
I will say that if I remember correctly, like that plane crashes in Dracula 2000, which is how Dracula ends up in New Orleans.
Yep.
And then they take the bodies to like a local church that's a stand-in for the hospital.
Yeah.
I'd say
it's
here
like a rec
we have just a crazy empty gymnasium that it looks like is their local morgue.
Yes.
And then they end up moving to an empty pool.
Yes.
And I'm like, wow, this is
thrill, folks.
It is horrible. It is literally just these big empty public spaces that they're trying to convince you are, like a hospital morgue, and also a hospital morgue that is worked by 2 people.
Oh my God, that is the emptiest hospital morgue, but the location's gigantic, so you really get the sense that there's nobody there.
This huge barn kind of thing, and it's our lead actress. We'll get to we'll jump in the movie proper, but Diane Neal, I had forgotten by name who she was. Then I see her, and it all comes back. I didn't say I never watched Law and Order. I have. I just am not like a huge fan. I see her and I go, right, I like you. And I've seen her in other things.
I love Diane Neal because I am, as you know, a massive Law and Order fan.
She's a very good actor, and she's got a very distinctive, awesome voice.
My God!
Well, she was husky female voice.
She was one of my favorites on Law and Order. She played 88 Casey Novak on SVU, and
as I saw on her IMDb when I was like, wait a minute, I know who that is.
I was so in love with this woman on SVU, though.
Easy.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, because she had such a unique look, voice, really good actress.
Yes,
and also, I mean, to stand next to a Mariska Hargitay and draw attention like that is
absolutely.
But
that takes some chops.
But holy shit, she has done. I mean, this is her film debut. It's one of the trivia things, and thank God she went right from this into Law and Order, because it's a pretty quick, like, oh, thank God that's a better gig.
Yeah. I mean, again, talent will out, but I mean, this thing is just littered with
no one could be
good
in this. Actually, that is the weird thing. There are other good actors. I think Jason London's a good actor.
I don't know if he's a really good actor. His career has had really high points and
Dazed and
really
Confused,
low points.
Of course, one of my favorite movies. And
I know. I just sit there looking at him going like, dude, I'm watching this movie last night going, 5 years before this, it's like you were Randall Pink Floyd in one of the greatest independent films of all time.
I mean, that may be a thing too, where it's just like he just really fit that part. And whether or not how good an actor, he was the, and that was the whole thing.
And Craig Sheffer, as we had already talked about last week, for a while he was a darling of the indie scene as well. And here, what the hell is he doing?
His performance in this is like, oh yeah, here's one where. Yeah, the writing's bad, but also Sheffer is bad in this. I think he's
bad in this, and the voice he's doing, that's not his normal performing voice. It sounds like he must have gone and seen Jeffrey Wright in something, maybe Basquiat, which like an early Jeffrey Wright. And he's like, I want to steal that because he's doing Jeffrey Wright.
He's doing it
for the whole thing.
And
it's all down here. And I'm like, you're not fooling anybody, Craig. And Sheffer, you look like Bobo David Boreanaz. So anyway,
he really does. And Sheffer's one of those guys where it's like he's not bad, but when he, especially like we talked about, like A River Runs Through It and stuff like that, right? Where it's just like, you're just not the guy, are you? Though
you're not the guy, you're the other guy.
And it's also I go back to Some Kind of Wonderful. I love the John Hughes movie. Which but even still, there you're like he's the douchebag jock guy in that. He's not Eric Stoltz.
And that worked.
He was great.
But I will say this before we get started in the movie proper, this is perhaps the best film role I've seen Brandy Roderick play.
Unquestionably her finest work. Well, I mean, I don't know. She was that cheerleader they questioned in the Starsky and Hutch movie.
Okay, all right, okay, yeah. She was pretty good on The Surreal Life. Wait, was she on that one? She was on one of the VH1 celebrity reality things.
Why not?
Jesus. Anyway, so let's talk about this movie. That's terrible.
Let's talk about this posters being generous, because this is obviously a video cover, because there was no theatrical release on these.
No, but I think if you go a couple over, you see what was the original.
That I think is closer to the Dracula 2000 aesthetic, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, which is, and also dimension thing, where it's lots of heads and red.
That's right. I talked about, I have the in my apartment I have the poster for Scream 2, and it's very similar.
Yeah, it's like get your CW faces in there, but they do include Roy Scheider and a little bit of it.
You know, for those who like cinema, remember Roy Scheider.
And
do I ever R.I.P. No, legitimate. I said this last week when legitimately one of my all-time favorite actors. I love Roy Scheider.
And I know that Jaws gets all the press because it was the biggest thing he ever did, but look at him in anything.
French Connection.
That man did. French Connection.
I just rewatched Marathon Man the other month, and god damn, what a great movie. And he is by the way, Roy Scheider, if you want to see Roy Scheider be like a ripped badass, which is not always what he was, but he is just a stone cold like killing machine in that movie. And he fucking rules. Shout out to two more, and then I swear I'm done. Number one,
the IMDb. You're IMDb.
Well, no, I'm not even IMDb. These are just movies of his I love. Sorcerer.
No. Sorcerer is amazing.
Sorcerer is great, and a real unsung gem, the 7-Ups.
Oh, I've never seen the 7-Ups.
7-Ups was it's basically like, hey, he's really awesome in the French Connection. It's almost a spin-off where it's like, let's build a New York car driving cop movie around that guy. It's really good though. Great car chases. Really that aesthetic I love of like gritty urban New York cop drama.
One of the things that he was so great at, right up till the end, he's definitely one of, I don't know what his acting technique was, what he did, but he definitely feels of a school with the 70s actors that are all very, not method, but very trained in naturalism. Because you watch all of his greatest films and you don't see person acting. You just see him inhabiting.
Yes.
And that's something, and he could play extremely sensitive roles. He could be very sweet. He could be very funny.
Very funny, yeah. He's
but
very
basically,
funny
the
in
guy
Jaws.
could fold himself into anything. And, I mean, Jesus Christ. The guy played, all that jazz.
I was just about to say, because I just was reminded of that again as I'm looking here at his IMDb, and I'm going, well, if I don't mention all that jazz, because I love that movie.
Because that's the thing where you're like, that is not like anything else he did.
No.
But does he own that movie? He owns every moment he's on screen.
That's the thing. He was kind of one of those guys who could do anything in that way. And in some ways, I always talk about guys like that, weirdly, like, don't get the same attention. Not that Roy Scheider was ever, but he was always like, oh, that guy's good. But because he had such range, in some ways, that can kind of prevent you from being a movie star.
All I'll just say is he killed two of the most frightening sharks.
It's true.
Ever.
Jaws 2, not as good.
No.
But he's still great in it. And he's even great in something like 2010. So,
I liked 2010.
I'm so glad you said that.
I don't
do too.
love it. I like it.
Well, because it is one of those things where it's like,
I saw it in the theaters again because I'm old.
But 2010 is totally fine. Okay, it's the thing where it's just like comparison. It was never going to be 2001, but on its own merits, pretty solid sci-fi movie. I think it's totally fine. Peter
Absolutely.
Hyams, good director. All right.
Yeah.
Dracula 2 Ascension. Patrick Lussier, not a good director.
No.
At all.
He's not.
Here's the thing. Obviously, Dracula 2000 must have done some decent video business because that movie really bombed. And so to make even a straight-to-video sequel, but to also bring back the filmmaker, implied there must have been some level of... Because why would you give this guy another shot? That movie was terrible, and everybody said it was terrible, and nobody liked it.
I can't answer this.
Yeah.
All I can say is... watching this movie, and I've said this about a few lately, this is another one that fails on every level.
It really does.
The writing.
It really is.
This is one of the stupidest.
It's really bad.
Just as far as plot construction, character, it is so dumb.
Yeah.
And it's like, great, set that up, great. Pay this off, set this up, pay it off, and it's all stupid.
There is a kernel of an interesting science fiction vampire movie in here. Throw Dracula out of it. But the idea of finding a vampire and then trying to harvest the blood, that could be an interesting, like, if you treated it as a smaller, like a movie like The Thing, where you're just in the lab and you have
there are
this
little
creature.
Concepts that do work, because here they're doing their take on a partial vampire whose job is to kill vampires, a la Blade, but this is instead a priest.
doesn't help that this is after the first two Blades, which are brilliant.
But that's a pretty cool concept, you know, and they making him a priest, all that, and he's got some weaponry and whatever. There's only 1 second of this entire movie I did enjoy. 1 literal second.
Okay,
and we'll get to that later.
I had one scene I think is not bad. Which we'll get to.
I don't have a full scene. I have a second.
We'll talk. I think the beginning of the movie's not bad. I think the opening thing
of the movie's horrible.
I thought the opening thing with Jason Scott Lee was not in execution necessarily, but I thought it was.
It's
fairly
really drawn
clever.
Out.
I thought
it really drawn out.
But and by the standards of this, I thought there was some cleverness.
Well, they're doing the little twist
that we've never. Yeah, it's a low bar. It's a low bar, I admit.
Woman in a diaphanous gown, which doesn't look contemporary. We're definitely in contemporary. Oh, this is one thing I love too. They're doing the whole thing at the opening. The woman in the diaphanous gown running through an empty, dark city, and you're like, "Wow, no one's out right now." But anyway, she's running. Oh no!
Well, you know, New Orleans famously not.
No, this isn't New Orleans.
It's not.
Literally,
it's nameless city. Right?
No, it's named.
Oh, is it named?
One of the things I love is, because I know how you missed it, is that while this opening scene is playing, they're doing the credits, right? They're doing like edited by within those, which I thought, I've never seen this before. It's like they're doing something about costume design, blah blah, and then they go something where is it? Ukraine or something. They actually do give you like
I did miss it then, because I'm sure I just was like, as I'm writing down my notes, I'm going at costumes. I'm sure I just looked away. I didn't.
It's something like something Czechoslovakia or something, but they do, and then they go back to putting other credits in there, so they slip a title of where it is.
That's horrible.
But anyway, so this is Europe, and she's running, and
so Romania looks right here then.
Yes, and you've got a guy in dark. Yeah. He's shadowy. He's got a big black coat on with a popped collar.
But he's got that
vampire,
that gigantic wide frame that tells me it's Jason Scott Lee, because
that man gigantic hair.
Wide. Well, always looking like Liu Kang from the Mortal Kombat games, right?
Oh, absolutely.
That hair. I can't believe he didn't play Liu Kang in the Mortal Kombat movie.
He wanted more money, but he's
also,
like, I played Bruce Lee. Okay.
Also, I look, I think the guy who actually did do it was actually kind of a better actor.
Ooh, okay.
Well, I just don't think he's a particularly good actor.
No, but anyway, the whole sequence is basically the flippity flu, because she's running from this guy, and he's approaching her very slowly. It's one of those things like with Friday the 13th. They're like, why can't they just get away from that guy? Because he's not even picking up his speed.
Right.
So he corners her. Oh, well, first he makes her trip down some stairs. All of this is really way too drawn out. It's like, get to it.
Okay.
I know what's coming.
Yes.
But anyway, so he gets like he's gonna attack her, and she starts laughing, turns around. She's got vampire fangs. Oh, wait, before we get to that, we forgot to mention that it opens with a made-up jibber-jabber quote.
Oh, yeah. About, what is this, the vampire casts no shadow, or no reflection?
The vampire has no reflection because this very image is an insult to God, or is an affront to God.
Yeah.
And it's accredited to a, like, some sort of priest, and that'll end up being Roy Scheider.
Yeah.
Roy
Scheider said it.
Roy Scheider said it, so it's
there's something funny to me about, like, this cardinal in Europe or whatever is the most New York Roy Scheider.
Most New York guy. And I think he's supposed to be blind. The way Roy Scheider is never really looking at him. I think he's supposed to be blind, but I'm like, I'm not sure.
Roy Scheider says...
Roy Scheider says, vampire, no reflection.
No reflection. Hey, man, you know, we get him back. I guess he shows up for another scene in the next one, too.
Oh, I can't wait.
Yeah.
So diaphanous gown lady looks into a window of a shop.
Okay,
and we
this is the part I thought was somewhat clever.
Really?
Yeah, she looks into what it's a reflection, and then it's the twin, and I thought
she like
look, man,
looks into the window, and you think that's her reflection, but then she moves, and the other one doesn't, because the other one is actually her twin.
I thought
leaps through the window.
By fucking Dracula 2000 franchise standards, I thought You know what? They're at least trying some subversion of something.
I'm sitting there going, did the twin know that she would end up right in front of that window when being stalked by this guy?
Of course. Once again, my bar is so low here. But I'm just saying, like, all right, I get minor credit in the first 5 minutes for trying something.
Well, the flip is this. The guy you think is the stalking vampire is actually a vampire slayer.
Yeah.
And the woman that's been running from him is actually a vampire, as is her twin.
Yeah.
And then they're like, we are going to... They're doing their fangs, and their voices aren't even matching their mouths, so I guess it's all telepathic, but they're like, we're going to drain you dry. We're going to suck all the blood right out of you. And then he does this quick... He's got the stuff you love, which is vampire killing gadgets, he has like a silver... like thread chain that he pulls out of his pocket, and he wraps it around both of them.
It's all shitty, cheap Blade weapons, right? Like Blade has that silver thing too.
He ties their two necks together, and they're like, "No, don't!" And then he just pulls it, which is like using those wire cutters to cut through wet clay.
Yeah,
and it just pops their heads off, and then he douses them in holy water, which causes them to burst into flames.
Yep.
The bodies.
Yep.
And then he walks off with the heads. And this is what I do love. Again, I know this is a small European city, but there's been glass shattering and some screaming. I just want someone looking out their door and seeing a guy walk off with two women's heads in his
It tells you how cheap it is that they couldn't get one like wino on the street to do a double take.
To take a drink and then look at his bottle like, what?
The classic
and then crash his bottle.
The classic
I'm not drinking anymore.
Roger Moore James Bond extra going, oh, what?
They couldn't even get a pigeon to do a double take.
No, and they tried, man. They tried so hard with those pigeons. They just didn't have the money for the trained pigeons.
No. Yeah, that costs a lot of money.
That costs a lot. Oh, we didn't also talk about the thing that gives him the upper hand on them is when the church bells go off. They're like, ah! Oh!
Well, that is weird, though. I mean,
that's
because
new.
They keep showing us this, like the tick down of the clock in this little European city,
almost
and it
like
hits midnight.
Time matters, yeah.
It hits midnight, and it is the church tower. It hits midnight, and the bells chime, and so Vampire Chick is one of the first clues. Is she's going ah, and I'm like, what?
By the way,
vampires don't tend to.
Jennifer Kroll, who plays these twins, is credited as Twins of Evil.
Yeah, cute. See, Twins of Evil, like the movie.
You know what? I actually I kind of like Twins of Evil. I
liked it too.
It's the best of the Karnstein trilogy by far.
Yes.
And I'm like, don't remind me of Twins of Evil, man, because I'd rather be watching that, because nobody said I've been cursed with Twins of Evil.
Yes, indeed.
It's a problem I had with Dracula 2000 and this as well, is like, I would enjoy this so much more if it was schlockier or campier in some way. If it's gonna be this bad, at least it's the self-seriousness that really makes me like be pissed at this movie. Where if it was trying to be
so stupid.
If it owned its stupidity just a little bit more, I don't think I would like it, but I would at least go like, all right, well, they're making schlock.
Yeah.
But this guy thinks he's crafting this mythos of his take on Dracula. By the way, we probably talked about this on the Dracula 2000. Patrick Lussier was and continues to be an editor primarily, and edited a lot of Dimensions movies, and specifically several that were directed by Wes Craven. He was not Wes Craven's editor. It didn't seem like. Mostly he worked for Dimension. Although he did edit Vampire in Brooklyn. So
I think that's probably because he delivered for them as an editor.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they said, yeah, okay, you can have $4 million to go make another one of your Dracula.
And then he goes,
and I think that's it.
He goes from these to do White Noise 2, a straight-to-video sequel to a...
Damn.
And then made, the classic, My Bloody Valentine 3D.
Jesus God, this guy is the worst. This guy is the worst.
If and when we ever get to Meet the Slashers. We'll talk about that movie like 20 years from now.
Yeah.
But by God,
and I'll be speaking from my grave. But that's okay.
But he's in post-production on a new movie that he just finished. How did these guys? This is as somebody who wants to direct stuff. How is this guy? I could direct a better fucking movie than this guy.
I agree. I could too, and I've never picked up a camera.
But it's just like, but you have that's the thing, just watching this. The incompetence of specifically the directing. I hate almost every shot choice he makes.
That's what I'm saying. This fails on every level. Sometimes you find something in these bad ones where it's a performance, or maybe the writing's not bad, but it's just so
well. It doesn't
cheap.
help that he also wrote it.
No, this is literally okay. I need to explain how bad it is. That was our opening scene, and that again, that's a twist.
That introduces
it's like okay.
Like I said, when I say I like this, I mean in the context of this, I'm like, okay, you're trying to be clever. So, and this introduces us to Father Uffizi, I guess is this character's name, which is interesting, but okay.
Uffizi sounds like that's probably Italian. And again, I don't know this guy's background, but Jason Scott Lee is clearly not Italian.
I was waiting for some story about him having been an orphan in China, adopted by the church.
Adopted, or
something like that.
You know, his family or his mother married an Italian or something.
Anything like that. Well, basically any backstory would have been nice on this guy.
But essentially he is, and he's not our main character. He does come back, but he's essentially the outskirts character that'll show up at certain key points. And he's just meant to be martial arts badass vampire priest.
And here's the thing that's so bad about the directing of this movie. Jason Scott Lee, who is an expert in martial arts, looks bad doing martial arts because of the directing of this movie.
Yeah, because of the way it's all shot, even though
I know this guy knows. You would think at the very least, talking about like movies I watch on the action shelf, oftentimes it's like, well, the movie's terrible, but like, oh, when they just put a camera on a guy who can do martial arts, that looks cool. But this guy's so incompetent, he can't even frame or edit.
The scene where Jason Scott Lee goes out to, I guess, just this empty lot as the sun's coming up, which is now how we kind of figure out, oh, he's probably part vampire, because what he's doing is he's taken off his shirt and he's letting the sun come up.
If I had the build of a Jason Scott Lee, I'd be taking off my shirt.
I know. Too. The thing I kept thinking about is when I was watching that scene where he's basically tensing up because the sun is burning him, and he's basically punishing himself this way because he's steaming and he's like, ah! And I was looking at it and going, that scene right there should actually just be handed out to aspiring artists, because his body, buddy, you see all of his muscles because he's tensing and flexing in pain, and you're sitting there going, I can see every muscle group.
It might actually be the best acting he does in the movie.
Oh, it definitely is.
By the way, I didn't know this. He's on the Doogie Howser reboot thing that's on Disney Plus. Jason Scott Lee.
That's awesome.
Doogie Kamaloha. The thing is, it's a young Hawaiian girl who's a doctor, and they call her Doogie. Anyway, he plays her father on that apparently, so he's getting work.
I mean, I don't begrudge him a career.
And also, like I said, this is another part where no one would have been good in this. He's not.
He has charisma. He's not a great actor, but he's someone that people can watch and like.
Like a lot of martial arts stars.
Sure.
In that way, it's that's more important.
But again, he's not our main character. We're gonna cut to a university right now, right? Is that immediate?
Yes,
or is it the morgue first?
No. We go to the university because this made me question who anyone is in relation to. We have
I know.
Craig Sheffer, who's doing I'm a guy with palsy in a wheelchair, and you know this because he's in his wheelchair and he's got one hand up by his chest, kind of frozen and like tensed with his fist. And
it's wrapped up against his chest, and I sit there going like, wow, that guy, he's committing. But basically, he's Stephen Hawking it here, except for he has more mobility in his head and mouth and whatever.
Well, except for his voice is the primary thing affected. by this disease.
Oh, it's very affected. And he's talking about cellular degeneration, and he's sitting there going like, and I guess I'm the poster child for that because I'm dying.
I'm dying.
And we cut to his class.
Yeah.
Which is college-age people, and Craig Sheffer at this point is probably late 30s, maybe.
Let's see.
But maybe early 40s. But
yes, he's 43 in this movie.
Okay, but he doesn't look too much older than his cast.
No,
so his
who
students
are all very attractive 20-somethings.
Right, very Dimension, very CW, and
very much
very
this
WB.
It's a gorgeous.
So
cast.
Brandy Roderick is there. She's a Playboy Playmate type. Tanya.
Hey, let's give credit where credit's due. Playmate of the year, Brendan.
Oh, sorry. And then you've got Carrie Payton, the actor playing Kenny, who is terrible in this.
Terrible in this, but has gone on to be a good actor.
I'm very glad for him because this stuff is embarrassing.
He goes on to play Ezekiel on The Walking Dead.
He was Ezekiel.
Yeah, I mean, so this guy and does a ton of stuff. He does the voice of Aquaman on Young Justice as well.
Nice.
Really good. Actually, very solid. Actually, he does a ton of DC voiceovers. He also does Cyborg and a bunch of other stuff too. Good, solid actor.
I am happy for him.
But we all got to start somewhere, right? Yeah,
we all have to start somewhere.
I mean, to be fair, like his career up to this point involves like a Walker Texas Ranger and a Jag appearance. So
man, we could have been Walker Brothers. I'm sad.
That's right.
Lest we forget. Sad I didn't go for that part.
Yeah, anyway. Man, I would have. If you had a Walker clip, oh my God, we'd be constantly posting that.
No. Oh man, I didn't do nothing. But his character is also terrible. We'll get to know them in a bit.
It is another thing where I think he's an inexperienced actor with maybe some chops that'll get used better. But also, he is the worst written character. And sadly, I kept writing him down on my notes as the black guy because it almost feels like the script calls him the black guy.
It is almost like because there aren't any other black people in it. And
he's a drug dealer.
Yes, he is called upon to be this caricature of, he's in this, I guess this is like genetics 101 or whatever.
Well, it's the thing I kept thinking about was Flatliners.
Sure. But again, why is he in this class? He seems to be a friend of and I say Brandy Roderick's character is also kind of the bubble-headed blonde. I mean, they're really doing very thin character building here.
What in Dracula 2000?
And then you Ascension. And you have Diane Neal playing, and we don't know who they are yet. This is just while they're listening to
in his class.
So the thing is, while Craig Sheffer says like I'm the poster boy because I'm dying, we see that Diane Neal in his class is deeply affected by those words.
Yeah.
What it will turn out to be is this. Because then we see them at a bar immediately after the class, and apparently he's buddies with these people who are his students.
This is what immediately threw me. So I'm going, wait. Are they students or are they like interns? Or because then
they're
also when
friends and students.
But then when they've got them working in the morgue too, I'm like, so what are they like? They must be. She seems like she must be as like. Teaching
she's like an assistant. She does say later that she took the job in the morgue because and we also find out I don't mean to spoil anything, but we do find out that he has Craig Sheffer's character, the professor, has been manipulating all of these events for the stupidest of reasons you'll ever
That's where the script thinks is being clever and is being incredibly dumb.
Diane Neal's character ended up working in the morgue because the professor, who is also her boyfriend, basically said, you should work in the morgue.
And she went, okay.
She went, all right. He said, because you need to get used to being around death because I'm going to die soon. All of this is stupid. This is literally in the script.
And all, by the way, stated by her as having been said. We don't see any of these scenes. It's all just, well, he told me this. And the thing about Diane Neal, and one of the reasons she was so good on Law and Order, is she has a real, like, she has an intelligence about her. She has a strength about her that you're kind of going like, I believe you as the doctor in the morgue. I don't believe you as the starry-eyed student who's falling for this as much. And especially because we never really get scenes where we see that manipulation. Right. It's very hard to believe that he, like, you know, has been gaslighting her.
We do see that she is clearly devoted to him. Yes. And she's macking on him. And it's like, do you need something to drink? You need more? And he's like, sure, I can't do anything because I'm in this chair. And she's like, I'll go get you something.
He's such a huge dick about it too, right? He's just like,
pretty much from the get-go. But they're like pretending like they're all buddies because Kenny, the black guy, I hate to say it like that,
well, like I said,
but he's like, he actually does go, like, they're like, what were you just doing with that other professor? Are you fixing your grades? He's like, man's got to do what he's got to do. And he puts money down the table like, did you just sell drugs to your professor? He's like, you know me. And then I'm like, this is terrible.
I'm a stereotype of a systemic problem.
Stereotype. But he is pally with all three of them. They all like him. We'll find out that very quickly. He literally says to like, basically he sends Diane Neal off. Craig Sheffer does. Yeah. And then Kenny says, that's what I like about you. You're like a man after my own heart. And he goes, and he says, you're MOB. And he goes, what's MOB? And Kenny goes, money over bitches. And what the fucking hell?
Obviously, like I said, just based on his other works, I'm like, Gary Payton seems like a serious actor. That has to be one of those where it's like, this is the line you want me to say?
Oh, no, I think most of the lines he was given in this movie, he has to have been gritting his teeth because they're all embarrassing.
Oh,
when he becomes a vampire himself is one of the worst things I've seen.
There had to just constantly be like, remember, it's gonna pay your rent for the next couple.
He's like, woo, this is the best. Woo, I'm a vampire. Watch out. Woo.
I'm so glad because I didn't recognize him, and because he looks very different on Walking Dead. But I am going like, oh, thank God, because this guy was asked to do such shit that he has found success. Because if you survive a piece of shit like this, you deserve something, especially because it seems like he does have real talent. I don't think Brandy Roderick does. I'm sorry. No. Diane Neal and him went on to do stuff because they're actually good. And I think Diane Neal is given such horrible shit. She's trying so hard. It's clear she's a very serious actress who's going like, this is it. This is a lead role. It's my first thing. She is playing it with such sincerity. And I'm going like, oh.
But it is written.
It's written
at an
terribly.
8th grade level as far as... Okay, because dumb. I think the very next scene is the morgue, right?
Yes.
Okay, we are now about 10 minutes into the movie, maybe 11.
Yeah.
All right. And they have given us a very quick... Pardon me, I keep burping. Like I said, I was having lunch right before we started.
But also, this movie's coming back on me.
The movie is coming back. But the whole thing is, they give us a really quick flashback to make us realize all of the stuff we have been seeing has kind of been happening concurrently with the end of Dracula 2000.
Yes, while this is happening is all the insane stuff on the rooftop. And of course, because it will be somewhat important to this movie later, we do know that this Dracula is Judas. Which is
Judas Iscariot.
That was still the biggest thing Lucier thought was just fucking brilliant in his script.
Yeah,
for Dracula
man.
2000.
That was the origin of vampirism. And it's another man who betrayed Christ.
And it's another thing where it's like, okay, a good writer might have been able to do something with that. That's not like an insane. That's not like a inherently bad concept.
No, sure, why not?
Why, tie him to but it's so dumb, and it's even dumber in this, the way they just kind of jam it into the end of this movie.
Well, because Dracula himself is taking a back seat for most of this movie, but anyway,
just sort of like,
so
you asked last week who's playing Dracula. What I didn't know is it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. He does get some dialogue. I kept thinking for the longest time, like, are they seriously going to have this be a Dracula movie where all he does is go,
Yeah, but keep in mind, I guess the idea is he's weakened in this one so he can be the supervillain in the next one.
He's weakened in this one so he can be blonde. Anyway, so, but we do see flashbacks to him as Gerard Butler, crucified-ish, hanging off the thing and burning. And that sets up the burned body is being pushed into the morgue by fellow student and co-worker in the morgue. The character played by Jason London is, what's his name? Luke.
Yeah.
Okay, it's Luke. I got the IMDb open.
Yeah.
And he goes, fire sale, as he wheels in this body.
I'm bringing in a guy on fire.
The guy that was burned to a crisp. Then he parks it.
And I thought it was bad that he paused and went, "See what I did there?"
Yeah, it was bad.
Yeah.
He kept waiting for her to laugh, and she never does.
Is he the one who had trouble with the law somewhat recently?
Either him or his brother. Yeah. It's him and his twin brother.
Jeremy, who I always confuse, and for actually a long time I thought were the same person.
Because they're twins.
Because I thought the guy in Dazed and Confused was also the guy in Mallrats, but no, they're different guys.
They're different guys.
But then they both end up on Seventh Heaven.
Oh, God bless.
Quite literally.
So essentially, okay, I'm getting to a point as to how ludicrous this movie is, but they open up that bag and there's Crispy Critter Dracula. So again,
by the way,
there's no,
not to slag off Jason, it is Jeremy who had substance abuse issues and a number of arrests. So
okay, I hope they both find peace with the Lord. Okay, so they cut open the body. I love this. There's no doctors. She's not the medical examiner, but she's like, let's check this out, and opens this guy up.
Yeah, because she goes, it's just her, and then Jason London wheels in a body. That's it for staff in the
That's
morgue.
It for staff, and apparently she's free to do any cutting she wants.
Yeah.
So opens up the chest cavity, and she goes, look at this. The organs are all ghastly white,
as if
they've never been in contact with blood.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So here's the thing.
Yeah.
In a Night Stalker episode or X-Files or whatever, someone goes, that is very strange. Because it is. Yeah. But instead, Jason London's character, Luke, instantly goes, you know what that could mean? This is where I knew this movie was going to be the worst.
Because he immediately goes, hey, check its teeth.
Yes. Here's the thing. This guy in the modern, 20th century, has cut open the,
it's the 21st century.
By this point. Yeah, 21st. Okay, sorry.
This is the 21st century. Lest we forget, this was Dracula 2000. This is the new millennium's Dracula.
You're absolutely right. But still, this guy, who is a New Orleans college student, has jumped from the organs have never been touched by blood. He goes, maybe he gets his blood from other sources. And she goes, what are you getting at? He goes, come on, you know what I'm talking about. And he goes, check his teeth. Instantly, this person has jumped to vampire, a thing that doesn't exist, a thing that's a fantastical thing, and this is and she is humoring it like, all right, well, let me see, I'll check its teeth, and then the teeth pop out, her finger gets pricked.
They do a thing where even she goes, she's humoring him, but still is doing like a slow, oh man, when she's opening, I'm just like, I'm sorry, are you going with the theory this is a vampire?
That's scientist the thing. Lady? This movie keeps. I mean, the only credit I'll give it is this is a writer who's like going, fuck all that nonsense where they dance around it. Everyone's just going to be in on it.
Yeah.
They all know it's a vampire, and we're just going to keep it going from there. And I'm like, great. What do you have to back up this stuff up? Nothing. So anyway,
what if
these two intelligent
people
if they had
in the 21st century, if you wanted to tie to the first movie more, what if there had been stories about the vampire killings of the last movie or something?
Yeah.
At least some sort of thread to make it...
They could have said something like, we've had these weird cases show up that are almost vampire-like.
Yeah, why don't you check
And you could have had Jason London go, I don't think it's a real vampire, but do you think it's connected to this stuff? That can't happen. But regardless, she does check the teeth.
They seem fine at
this
first.
Is weird.
And then the fangs pop out, and
then the fangs pop out on their own, and she goes, yipes, because it does prick her finger, and like a drop of her blood goes in his mouth, which in this movie means she is kind of now being very slowly turned into a vampire. What the fuck is this thing?
I know. Well, I don't quite understand this idea where it's like her system is fighting it off when everybody else turns almost instantly.
Yeah, whatever. I mean,
and
literally,
of course,
that lady with the cat turns like in 5 seconds.
That woman is one of the fastest transformations of vampire we've seen. But we also see suddenly the veins on Dracula's face start to come, right? Like it's like, ooh, a taste of the stuff, and he gets a little bit of life.
Yeah,
in his burned
a little
corpse.
bit, like he's healing just a teeny bit just from that drop of blood. Which I love the Hammer stuff. Yep. I love where literally you have people being drained into the coffin full of dust, and that brings them back. But I love it.
But all of this is shitty Guillermo del Toro, right? Because this made me think of, we did Blade 2 a couple weeks ago, and there's that scene when they put the drop of blood in the Reaper's, and you see all the organs come to life for a second.
Yeah.
Like, don't fuck around with monster autopsies, because there's a guy who his whole life is about that.
Don't fuck around with monster autopsies should be the name of this episode. But anyway, but this is just it's shit, and they both immediately have jumped to vampire.
Oh,
and
my
then
God, it's
almost
vampire.
Immediately they get a call from someone saying, "I will pay you." What is it? $30 million for the corpse you just discovered.
This made me laugh because it's the pacing of a Simpsons joke, where it's like, it's like, oh my God, is a vampire. Ring, ring. Hello. What? Money for vampire? It really is that fast. She goes to bandage her finger, and he gets a phone call. Like, right away. I couldn't believe. They're just like, it's as if somebody's got their vampire senses on and go, someone's found a vampire. Get me a phone.
Even when we get the grand plan explanation of what Craig Sheffer's character was all about, you're still sitting there going like, I mean, again, what is he, psychic? How could you've known it? Anyway, regardless, a British guy calls and says, I will give you $30 million for that burned vampire corpse.
Yeah.
And don't do anything with it. And then when she comes back, he tells her, like, dude, not only is this really a vampire, someone else believes it to the tune of $30 million. And she goes, we don't know it's really a vampire. And there's only one way to find out. This becomes literally, let's go to my friend's castle workshop slash abandoned gym.
I know a guy who has a location for a creepy story to happen.
Yeah, Craig Sheffer's family owns an old dilapidated castle-like mansion, and they fill a bathtub with blood. This is all happening seemingly in real time, where everyone has immediately said, I know where to get multiple pints of blood. But we got to do
this they do this whole Ocean's 11, Ocean's 11 bit where they're sneaking the body out, and for some reason there's another burned body. Because,
I didn't even.
Well, there's a fake because Jason Scott Lee shows up. He also has just instantly known where to go.
Yes.
And he shows up, and he goes.
But he has vampire sense.
He goes, I'm here to find the body. By the way, the guy he talks to is this doctor, Tom Kane, who's a voice actor. He does the voice of Yoda in all the Clone Wars and Rebels stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He's the guy who's just like, oh yeah, we did get a body. I think it's he's an exceptional voice actor, and actually, sadly, just had a stroke that now he can't speak anymore.
Oh, it's terrible.
It's a tragic thing. But anyway, yeah, I didn't immediately recognize him, but I saw this in the voice or in the cast list here. And I was like, oh my God, I love Tom Kane. But yeah, he's just like, yeah, no, the burned body's over there. And Jason Scott Lee goes and looks up, opens up, and there's another burned body, but he's like, damn, this one's not a vampire. Cut to London and Neil are wheeling it out in like a thing of recycling or whatever, like they've got a crate of garbage.
Yeah, they're trying to hide the fact they're smuggling a body out.
They're driving.
All of these leaps.
Well, because keep in mind the movie's 85 minutes long, so it's just like we got to go.
Jesus. But
it requires people to make insane leaps.
And I think there's a couple things, because to get or when they find out, well, this is where we're going to take the body, they have contacted Craig Sheffer, who's like, vampire, that sounds like crazy. But if you want to do some sort of unlicensed experiment, why don't you use my family's place?
No, well, I suppose I would recommend not, but if you're going to mess around
and I will go there and I will monitor it on a monitor.
I'll monitor it.
Because I'm in my chair.
That's right.
And I'll watch you guys fill a bathtub with blood.
And I'm definitely not evil, despite the fact I talk like this. It is.
Yeah, you're telegraphing it a little there, pal.
Yes,
just a little bit.
No, I'm a totally down to earth guy with great ethics.
Oh, it's so stupid. And the characters are all in from.
Well, the thing is, like, we're gonna need blood. A lot of it. Cut to, you don't even see them call the other medical students, Brandy Roderick and the guy from Walking Dead, they just show up with big jars of blood, and they're right away just pouring it in the tub, going like, "This is crazy!"
And like medical bags full of blood, and they're just squirting it all in there, and then. I mean, this is their experiment. Okay, here's another thing.
This really got me.
All of this is terrible. It's also just, it's so ill thought. But the whole idea is, okay, let's say that maybe they have made a jump to believing this fictional thing exists. Maybe waking it's not a good idea. Maybe the experiment should be like what they do later. Maybe the experiment should be take a skin sample and add blood to it and watch what it does under the microscope. No, what they do is fill a bathtub with blood and put the whole body in there, and pretty soon it's like, "Hey, how's it going?" Well, it literally reaches up and grabs Brandy Roderick, pulls her down.
Well, what's great though is before that, I mean, because I do go like, what's next step? They wake this thing up, and then what? Right, but what I love is they put the body in the blood and nothing happens, and Diane Neal takes this approach just like, well, what were we even thinking? Like, what did we think was gonna? Well, this is, you know what? Now I'm just coming to my senses. This is stupid.
Now that there's a dead body in a whole tub of blood, I'm starting to have doubts.
You know what? There aren't vampires. Oh my God, we all just went a little and then suddenly, yes, he grabs Brandy Roderick. She's now covered in blood, and then hilariously gets thrown out a window.
This is
one of two times this character is thrown out a window, by the way.
Her three friends are surrounding the tub, and they're going, "Oh no!" And they start kind of tugging her, trying to get her away from the resurrected, burned vampire. And she's now like covered in blood, and they're doing absolutely no good helping her. And then Dracula basically, we find out later, by the way, that he did bite her during all of this, but he then just throws her.
Thinking back to this,
and she goes out like a doll through the window of the castle.
Where and when did he bite her? I don't think the physicality of that works.
In the tub during all the thrashing.
I guess at some point he had to have gotten her real quick though.
Yeah, and when she comes back as a vampire, she actually says her own origin. She goes, "He must have bitten me in the tub." She goes, "Can you believe that? Now I'm a vampire."
Isn't that crazy?
Oh, Jesus. So our only chance for nudity goes thrown out the window.
I was shocked they didn't get her top off.
Me too, actually.
Not that I'm a perv looking for that, because number one, she did pose for Playboy. Not very hard to find nude images of her.
No, but the whole thing is like, you would expect that if Dimension is doing this, and they were trying to bring back the R-rated horror thing. Yep. And but I guess they were like, look, Scream, we didn't do any of that stuff.
That's
so
true. Well, we did talk about Wes Craven never kind of went in for that stuff. That wasn't his thing. Nightmare on Elm Street doesn't really have any nudity in it either. That's more Friday the 13th. So I guess if we're being true to Wes Craven Presents, although we had nudity in Dracula 2000, and at least based on rating reasons, we're going to have nudity in Dracula 3. So this is the nudity-free second chapter.
Well, Brandy goes out through the window, but also, it is a goofy-looking thing.
I don't want to. Once again, I don't want to demean this woman necessarily, but if she's not gonna, why else would you cast her? I'm sorry, she's just not very good. She's not believable as a medical student. So she's not. If you're not casting this woman,
she's attractive.
Yeah, sure, of course. But I'm saying, like, if you're not going to cast this woman but they don't even really play up her sexuality, even.
No, they don't.
It's a weird use of her, let's say, for what her skills were. Because, like, the whole bit that she's in the Starsky and Hutch movie is they interview her while she's changing, and they're distracted by her huge breasts. But once again, the brilliance of Todd Phillips' Starsky and Hutch movie, which has some funny stuff in it, is my review.
I gotta say, I mean, there's a whole subgenre of movie versions of classic TV shows where the gag is we're going to mock it in an affectionate way.
Yeah.
Brady Bunch and its
Brady
sequel,
Bunch, those are
Beverly Hillbillies, which actually is underrated because what a great cast.
By the way, all of those, all three of those, the Brady Bunch movies directed by Betty Thomas, all great. Love them.
Yeah,
particularly the Brady Bunch are the
and Starsky and Hutch is one that I loved.
I enjoyed it.
Funny all the way through.
I mean,
and then having Hutch actually sing "Don't Give Up on Us, Baby" because David Soul did.
It's a funny movie. They cast it very well. Very funny people in it that also fit the aesthetic. You know what?
Yeah.
Watch that instead of this.
Oh yeah.
And Snoop Dogg as Huggy Bear, great choice.
You know who should sue this movie? Dracula.
Yeah.
I'd like to. This is not
I need a lawyer. No real estate this time. This is about did you see these Dracula 2000 movies? Terrible defamation.
This is defamation of character.
Yeah.
But basically,
yeah, she gets thrown out the window.
Their experiments of success.
They're kind of not upset enough that she got thrown out the window. And all those things where it's like, because they go outside to bury her, of course.
Well, no, first. First they have to deal with the vampire.
That's right.
And he gets up, and what's weird is...
Oh, sorry. Yes, because this brings us to our British guy and his sun gun. And guy...
The British guy comes in...
Appears out of nowhere.
And this was the guy, apparently, who offered them $30 million.
Yeah.
A guy named Eric. This actor, John Light, spends the entire movie brandishing a spear gun.
Yep.
In this particular scene, though, he has the spear gun in one hand, and in the other hand, he has a sun gun, which he pins the vampire with like a blast of UV light. And he's like, ah! And the British guy's first words when he comes in, he goes, hose him down, get the blood off. So they have to get like...
And he also goes, and then they're looking at him as he's holding him, and he just goes, sun gun.
Yeah, sun gun. In case you were wondering what I'm holding, it's a sun gun.
Yeah.
So he knew they were there, knew the experiment was going on, broke in, and he said, well, I didn't expect you guys to resurrect him, but now you have, so we need to deal with it. Let's go chain him up in an empty pool.
I feel bad for everyone in this movie. This guy I might feel the worst for, because John Light is like a classically trained Shakespearean British actor.
I got the impression like one of those that he was capable of better.
And he does a lot of stuff for the BBC, but does like a lot of like Royal Shakespeare. You can watch like a lot of the film productions of Royal Shakespeare Company and stuff like that. And you're just going like, good Lord, man. He is asked to do. It's just like, okay, so shittier. Yes, got it. I understand. This is a piece of crap.
So do what I was doing before, but terribly?
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, he was briefly married to Neve Campbell, one of my greatest crushes of the 90s.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Nicely done, sir.
Well, but also poorly done. You let that woman get away. Big mistake, pal. Huge mistake. Anyway, and also Neve Campbell, star of a much better Dimension franchise.
Yes. Though they really screwed up by not giving her enough money to come back in the later ones.
Oh, agreed. But that Scream 2 poster I referenced earlier, it's signed by Neve Campbell.
Nice.
Yeah. All right.
Well, on that note, her former husband comes in with a sun gun, and now it is about...
But I do love where I went, who are you? Like, what is this guy just... Hello! I'm in the movie now.
It is just... Everyone pops in when they need to with no explanations.
Mm-hmm.
So they do...
Oh, they do... They subdue Dracula, and then there is a conversation...
About, we got to call the cops because our friend's dead.
And it's Craig Sheffer going, no cops.
Yeah.
I've got
we
priors,
won't be able
man.
to answer. He goes, are you prepared to answer those questions? No. You gonna tell him about a vampire? No.
I love scenes like this in these horror movies where it's like they have to give lip service to why no one's calling the cops. And it's always like, no, I think I'd still call the cops.
And here, the British guy who's just shown up, the one thing I do like about it is he's obviously, because there's a red herring here. You're not supposed to suspect the professor, Craig Sheffer, is the bad guy. So this guy who wanted to pay them for the vampire is gleefully evil, because here he's like, he goes, yeah, we should just bury her here for the time being. And then the British guy goes, I believe every barn should have a shovel. He just tells him, like, I think if you look over there, you'll find a shovel.
Before he starts revealing himself, before he says his name, before he starts revealing himself to be evil, I thought for a split second, this is the recast of Johnny Lee Miller.
Really?
When he comes in with the vampire weapons and the black coat, I thought, okay, because the end of Dracula 2000 was like, and now we spend a crusade fighting vampires. So just for a split second, he's got a British accent. He's got the aesthetic and the know-how. I thought, oh, he's going to be the Van Helsing.
Well, you gave this film some credit that it didn't deserve. Well, but I didn't think that. I just thought
the only problem there is that they've given Jason Scott Lee the story role of the Johnny Lee Miller character.
Right. He's the I didn't really believe it. Now I do, and it's up to me to save everybody.
And look, I know I don't expect, but it does seem like if you are making a sequel to that, shouldn't those two characters who defeated Dracula last time come back in this story?
Wouldn't they because it was literally 15 minutes later.
Like they were
you would have expected them to show up in the morgue going, we have to make sure this is done.
Well, it just seems like they would have been they're on the plane back to London while all this is happening after the events. My God.
And maybe literally their flight was in 30 minutes, and they're like, we should check on Dracula's, but no, we got to get to the airport.
Yeah, all right, whatever. And spoiler, they're not in the next one. So,
because it's okay.
This continues,
let it go, man.
Obviously,
just let it go.
Well, I just think it's one of those things where it's like, are you making a sequel or not? And you wrote the first movie. That's the thing that gets me. I wouldn't say any of this if this was made by different people. But it's like, are you trying to? Well,
yeah, you would.
I'm just saying, like, it's so interesting. This guy is trying to craft his own continuity, but he's also ignoring his own continuity.
Wait, I tell you, I finally saw Becky and Wrath of Becky.
Oh, no, did you?
I watched them back to back. I know this is off topic, but what struck me about it was I really enjoed them both. And then they came within 2 years of each other. Mm-hmm. And the second one, it's not the same creators.
It's not. But it
totally was someone that came in and took it somewhere else while still being true to the first one. I was really like, good. That's pretty great. That's a sequel where the original creators are like, no, it's okay. You can take the character and the actress and do what you want.
The Becky movies are so much fun. I really, if you're into like action horror kind of stuff, I think
it does become a comic book in the second one, but in a way I really like.
I was gonna say a problem that you and I wouldn't often complain about.
It has her end up as a 16-year-old CIA agent with a bazooka, so I'm all right with it.
I do often approve of movies that have more rocket launchers in them. Like I'm just like, yep. And so satisfying. And that girl is great. Lulu Wilson.
Oh, my God. I've never seen her before in anything.
Oh, that's not true, actually, because she plays Troy and Riker's daughter on Star Trek Picard.
Oh.
Yeah.
So she's the one that's eating all those pizzas.
She's the one eating all those pizzas. And who just... kind of nobody's worried about who's watching her in season 3.
Nope. They've left her behind on an alien
Hey, man, though, based on those Becky movies, I guess she's doing just fine probably on her own. She can handle herself.
I think so, too.
But I will watch 10 more Becky movies where she's fucking up white supremacists.
I do sit there going like, they have now created a verse, and I'm ready for more installments. But anyway,
keep casting.
Unfortunately, there are more installments of this.
Yeah, but my last note is, and keep casting comedic actors as awful human being villains.
Yes, because it's a great outlet for them.
It is, and I'm just like, oh, Kevin James, who knew? You could maybe kind of
absolutely great.
You could act in something if you really cared to. All right.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, it's like no cops, man, and literally you've got I'm just gonna keep calling him Ezekiel because I don't remember his name in this.
Kenny.
It's Kenny. He's the only one going, my best friend just went out a window, and you're telling no one to call.
That's not true. They have Diana Elizabeth. They have her at the window going, oh my God, Tanya. Oh,
that's right.
Tanya.
I think he is the one who gets the most like, that woman is dead.
Yeah.
Because of
course he pretty quickly turns around and goes, damn, we're gonna make some money off this vampire.
He does say that. Actually, you're right. That's the second part of the line. My best friend just died, so I better get this money.
I better get that $30 million.
And if you think we're doing an offensive black voice, that's what the character is written like.
That really is what he is written like.
That is, boy, oh boy, oh boy. Boy. All right.
Yeah, boy, oh boy.
Yeah, this movie. Right. Okay, so they're like, all right, well, since we're already here, let's, keep working on figuring out what the deal with Dracula's blood is.
That is basically it.
That's another big jump that I can't fully get behind. It's just like, well, someone's dead, vampires are real, and they're like, hey, man, we're scientists. Let's just keep doing the research.
They do. Well, yeah, I think Craig Sheffer's part of that. He's like going, this is fascinating. And they move him to, as I said, they move him to the empty swimming pool in an empty gym.
Yes. And they chain him up and they're blasting him with UV lights that there's a switch to turn up or down to burn him more.
Yeah, it's basically like, this is how you keep him in check. Plus, his bindings are solid or iron, but coated in a thin thing of silver. And I've got this, you're all going to get spear guns, and they have spears that are tipped in silver, so don't fuck with them.
And hey, man, everybody wear your cool-ass shades so the lights don't burn your eyes.
Yeah, man.
By the way, this guy, we haven't talked about Stephen Billington, who plays Dracula, another veteran of the Royal Shakespeare Company, who is just... It's not his fault.
When he delivers lines, he's okay.
Well, the thing I couldn't get behind, the blonde that you're talking about,
yeah,
you must. We thought about Sheffer being a worse Boreanaz. It's Spike from Buffy, right? This whole aesthetic for this Dracula.
Yeah.
I couldn't get away from. They're totally doing James Marsters.
I honestly thought because he's bleach white, his bones are poking out. The whole idea is that over the course of the movie, through injections and so forth, they're slowly strengthening him. And so he's slowly coming back from literally a charred, corpse. And I was accepting of that. I was like, okay, literally, like, the color starts coming back into his skin very late in the game. He's still pretty pasty white. And I thought that literally the white hair then becomes kind of blonde. I was like, it's like the color is coming back and the life is coming back. So by the end, he'll have dark streaks or his hair will be dark. No, he just stays a bottle bleach blonde for the rest of the movie.
And this poor guy though is gonna get shoved out of the way in part 3.
Oh no,
legendary actor Rutger Hauer will be Dracula in the 3rd movie.
Sure.
Because there is a one-off line in this about every time he comes back, it's in a different form.
I didn't catch that.
They did say where they're just like...
They do the same thing
every time with a different face. They have a real Doctor Who sort of like...
Oh, I missed that. Yeah. I did hear the part where she goes, "Who are you?" And he starts listing off all of his various names through history.
Which I like in concept for Dracula being like, I've been called by many names,
Yeah.
That's always cool, but that's cool when fucking Gary Oldman says it, not this guy.
Sure.
Yeah. Once again, not this guy's fault. Seems like he is an incredibly well-trained classical theater actor.
I'd say most everyone survived this movie, but it's terrible.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. It's not that any of these individual actors. Well, a couple of them are bad, but like for the most part, it is just no one would have been good in these parts. Or even an actor like Craig Sheffer, who I think is a good actor, is like, what are you doing?
What are you doing?
I mean, he's the only guy, I guess. Once again, I guess maybe he is doing kind of what which the whole movie was, which is just like, no, it's schlock. It's like but he's the only one doing it, so it seems really weird. If everybody was sort of given, even the Dracula guy is more grounded than Sheffer.
Yep.
Oh, also, Jason London has set up a few more traps just in case he gets out of this.
Yeah.
Which brings
Jason
in
London
silliest...
this movie is now, besides the guy who clearly he's the first guy who immediately jumped to a vampire conclusion, which means they didn't play this up, but he may actually be just a vampire nerd.
Yeah,
because he comes in with I am spreading all the seed in front of Dracula. And what are you doing? It's like, because it said that vampires they're obsessive counters.
Yeah.
And it slows them down because they have to count every grain of sand or rice, that kind of thing. That is from folklore.
Yeah.
And then he also says...
I actually like this until it's executed.
But and then he goes, and here's this net, which I'm putting over him. She's like, and what's that about? And he goes, they also are obsessed with... They have to untangle all these knots.
Yeah.
So in addition to the sun lamps, in addition to the spear guns that are in case he breaks free, I'm also doing these things to slow him down. And that pays off later. I kind of appreciated it, but that's not the 1 second that I liked. I'll tell you the 1 second I liked.
Yeah, I wish they had. The way it pays off though is kind of like, it does pay off, but it also is just kind of like, eh. Like
it's basically because what you might expect as a vampire movie. This is him trying to do another twist. What you expect as a vampire movie fan is that the vampire gets free and goes, that's stupid folklore. I don't give a shit about that.
Right.
But no, this movie posits all that's true. But what you didn't know is Dracula can count really goddamn fast.
Really fast.
And he can untie knots without you even knowing he's doing it.
Yeah, and like I said, that's, man, it's just the execution of it is like, because you also get the stupid slow motion shot of all the seeds in the air and him going 774,000, you know, whatever. Yeah. Because this guy's a bad director.
Yep.
There is, and also the other thing about that is that's very Dimension, right? Where it's like, we know the folklore. We know the conceits, the tropes. We're gonna have a little fun with them, though, right?
Yeah. See, we're doing this. Ain't your daddy's.
The only problem is this isn't Kevin Williamson, who's a better writer than this guy,
right?
Because that's the thing about you see that all the Scream copies are like, yeah, this isn't as witty though. Like it's just not. It's just not as clever.
It's missing that voice.
Yeah, or the brilliant direction of Wes Craven, who. Always, regardless of what the individual movies he made, always that guy's direction is amazing. He made some real bad movies, but that guy knew what to do with the camera, knew how to cut, and you can really see that when you watch something like this and go, his name's on it, but this is not the Craven quality.
Yes, indeed.
We are coming up on
the Craven quality. Nice.
Well, I
like the way you phrase that.
I love Wes Craven. We're coming
Me
up
too.
on his werewolf movie he made for Dimension in a few weeks that this guy edited, actually.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Which I'm sure will only be better than I haven't seen it in a long time, but all right. Let's see. So for no reason, we introduce a couple of dumb cops into this movie.
We need a body. We need more bodies.
Yeah,
body count.
That's what it is, but it is just like it's such a loose like, oh no, cops are here because why are the cops here? They're just doing a routine check or something.
Someone called something in, and they're like a neighbor or something. It's like they suspect some kind of satanic rituals. I look, these aren't Louisiana accents, but they brought a couple of people to Romania for a couple of days who are doing Southern accents to try to underscore we're in New Orleans. They don't sound like they're from New Orleans, but they're like, hey, why do we always get called on the weird ones? It's like, I guess we're the exorcists of the thing. Ho, ho, ho. And they go in. Who's here?
Where was their spinoff franchise?
I don't know. Well, they don't last long enough. They go into...
One survives, doesn't he?
Yes, one survives. That's true.
By the way, so these actors are John Sherian and Nick Phillips, who play Officers Smith and Hodge. Nick Phillips from Virginia. John Sherian... another Brit. And another fucking Royal Shakespeare. God damn it. They must have... Was the Royal Shakespeare Company closed for the season or something?
Could be. and again, they're easier to... or it's cheaper to fly them to Romania than it would be Americans.
Yeah, but you've got one guy who actually is Southern and one British guy.
Virginia doesn't count, buddy.
Okay.
That's not the South.
It's approaching the South.
It's approaching.
I think
so is New York. New York is approaching the South because you have to go from north to south.
Some Virginians, I think, aren't there? Isn't that the Virginia?
Sure.
I don't know. Look,
I'm sorry, man. I got that Southern pride, you know. But
yeah.
The whole thing is they bring them in just so they can go into, because our heroes, quote unquote, have abandoned that first place. Now they're at the swimming pool. So the cops are now at Professor Craig Sheffer's empty castle mansion. And they go in and they're like, there's nobody here. But then, there's leaking blood from upstairs because of the blood tub. Blood Tub is the name of my new band. They go upstairs and wouldn't you know it that Brandy Roderick is a vampire now.
Oh, she sure is.
And she says, can you believe it? I'm a vampire now, literally. And she attacks them and kills one of them almost immediately. And I guess she bit him enough to where when martial arts priest comes in, that guy's just a goner.
I don't quite understand. Once again, Jason Scott Lee just finds this fucking place. Like, everybody just finds this place.
He knows.
And by the way, a quick Google tells me there's a lot of back and forth about whether or not Virginia is considered part of the South. It's apparently a huge thing. Whether or not it is. Like, there's a huge debate. There is no clear answer.
Well, I will say there's also a debate about Texas.
Yes.
Because Texas is so much its own thing. A lot of people, really the South, in a lot of people's heads, that's Louisiana, Georgia, Mississippi, Alabama.
Right.
Possibly Tennessee. Yes, definitely Tennessee.
Yeah.
But as far as Texas, Oklahoma, Florida's definitely South. Georgia's definitely South. Carolinas, yes. Virginia's just a little too far north.
It also, and apparently there's like debates about parts of Virginia, like the southern part of Virginia.
There you go.
And then there's also like, but people are like, fucking West Virginia definitely isn't. It's a whole thing apparently. I did not realize this. So
yeah.
So anyway, also I think I'm sort of just drawing Civil War lines there too.
Yeah. And I don't want to get into that.
We're still, you know what? Because there's still just so much controversy around that thing. Right? We just haven't settled that.
Yeah, no, those scars run deep.
Man, all right. So anyway, they show up. One guy gets bit. The other guy is just frozen by terror. Is kind of what it is. He's sitting there. And this is what is this scene meant to tell us about Jason Scott Lee? There is this whole thing with his character, right, where he's like, "This is a sacred thing, and this is good. I'm saving these people." Because he tells this scared cop, he's like, "Close your eyes. You're the lucky one." Yeah. And then he's just like, "Look away as I burn your partner to death."
He's trying to, I guess, put him at ease, though it's in a pretty creepy way, because he does kill Brandy Roderick basically by kung fuing her literally out the same window she went through before.
She handcuffs herself to him with the police handcuffs.
Right.
And then he grabs the cop's gun, swings her at the window, and shoots the chain of the handcuffs. So she launches out the window and catches fire and explodes.
And then she bursts into flame because it's bright daylight outside.
Well, it's another moment where that is kind of badass, except for it's so poorly put together. Like, this guy is a horrible director across the board. But anytime he tries to do like action beats, you're like, oof, no. And you've got an actor who can do action. So it's really bad.
It's really bad. She burns up, she's dead.
Yeah.
And then he does the thing where he says, "Close your eyes, you don't want to watch this," or whatever, and you're the lucky one, you are blessed, and whatever. And then he does the holy water thing on the buddy cop who goes up in flames, and he walks off. And then the other cop opens his eyes, he's like, "That didn't help. It's horrible. Oh God, my friend is burning."
No. Oh God, no. So anyway, that all happens, and this is at the old house, which is not the same place as the swimming pool.
No. No, it's not.
That's what was kind of confusing. The move from the house to the swimming pool isn't well stated. Like,
no,
it took me a second to realize these were different places.
We do some exteriors. They do give us exteriors of the gym and pool, which is maybe part of a school, or maybe it's just an athletics complex. But regardless, it's totally deserted, which is how they have an empty pool to put Dracula chained up to a table and with all the sun lamps around.
As we've stated, everywhere this movie goes is completely deserted. Completely.
Yeah. You know, there's no one that's not...
Because we do
a character in the movie.
We get an action set piece,
except for that bar scene. There are extras in the bar scene,
and in the classroom. There's students too. That's
yeah.
Because later when we do get this scene where there is a fight on the streets of New Orleans, that's where the Catwoman is bit. Not Catwoman, sadly. Just a woman with a cat.
She is literally she has a cat, and in the credits she is listed as Catwoman because she owns a cat.
Cat-woman. Not to be confused with Catwoman. But Warner Brothers paid very close attention. All right, you got us to mention. We can't get you on that one. Okay. And she is just a Romanian local, by the way, the Catwoman.
Sure. She only has like 2 lines of dialogue.
But anyway, I was gonna say that's a fight.
She looks Romanian.
Yeah, that's a fight scene that's actually like supposed to be on the streets of New Orleans, and no one is there.
Nope.
At all. Once again, this is where I can use my joke about New Orleans, famously not a city with a lot of nightlife.
No. That place closes down around 8:30.
That's a real calm, conservative town, you know.
There's not a section of that city that is quiet until about 2 in the morning.
Yeah, and even then, man.
Yeah.
So they, So they've moved to wherever this gym with a pool is. They've got Dracula strapped down. And Diane Neal, though, because she bit him earlier, this is also weird because she seems to be the only one that has like a mental connection with him.
She didn't bite him.
Oh no, because he bit her. She's the one going, I want to talk to him, lower the lights, and you've got British guy being like, are you crazy? She's like, just listen to me, man.
Because that, the drop of blood that went from her finger into his mouth and technically was what brought him back to life. They have this bond.
Right.
And it's also what is amazing to me, though, again, we find out later Craig Sheffer wanted all this to happen. But at this point,
which is in retrospect,
if you're
so
Kenny, the friend,
crazy.
Yes, exactly. Or you're, Luke, if you're the friends, wouldn't you be noticing that she is having all these like reactions to the light, and she's the one that keeps like, no, we should put more blood into him to bring him back even more. Well, I'm like, come on, she's clearly falling into his.
I like the scene later when she reveals to Jason London the infection, which of course is just making her skin translucent, so she's got the really dark veins and stuff like that. She goes, but it's okay, my immune system seems to be fighting it, and he just kind of goes, all right.
Yeah, okay, that sounds interesting.
Lord, that's the thing.
They do lame science stuff with. I mean, and to tell you the truth, this is where it all kind of blends to me.
Well,
because from this point on, it's constant.
This is where this scene where I'm talking about, where she's like, turn the lights down. She's like, I'm just gonna take a little of your blood, and she pulls it out, and then this is where they start looking at what Dracula's blood is doing to affected cells.
And he talks to her, though, in this very first bit. We're not sure if Dracula is actually talking and other people can hear, or if it's just in her head, but he's like, yes, Elizabeth, you take what I have freely given to you as you have given to me, and shit, and all that other shit and stuff.
I mean, like I said, this guy's not, physically not a bad choice. Lose the blonde hair, obviously.
Yes.
He could be, at best, a pretty, Dracula. Gerard Butler was certainly trying much more than this guy, but also had much more to do in the script.
Yeah, it's very true.
And then this guy apparently is just going to get, whatever. We're swapping in a bigger actor, Rutger Hauer.
Mm-hmm.
Because we can afford him for one of these.
How much you want to bet that Dracula gets 10 minutes of screen time in the third?
I think I'm pretty sure that's the case, because Rutger is going to cost. And also, though, but I will say, I know it's going to be shit because of this, but Rutger Hauer's Dracula, fuck yeah, man, that guy's great.
Again, he traditionally is blonde.
He is traditionally blonde, but I'm just saying in terms of personality.
No, as a person, and we've seen him as a vampire lord. Thank you, Buffy.
Oh God, he was so good. That's the thing, is we're just gonna keep talking about how much better he is than that, probably. Because that's
that one's also allowing him to have fun with it.
Yes.
Just like, of course.
But also, I was thinking this, and I guess he is still blonde of course, because this guy's also blonde, so why wouldn't he be?
Yeah.
The next one? But I was going to say is, we're also going to talk about him several episodes from now as Van Helsing in Argento's Dracula. Is he the only actor to play Dracula and Van Helsing?
Oh, that's interesting.
I think he is. I can't think of anybody else.
That's interesting.
Yeah, that hit me when I saw it.
You may be absolutely correct.
I think he is. Correct me if I'm wrong, listeners, but I believe that until Hugh Jackman does his big Dracula turn, which I would see.
Yeah.
Actually, he'd be great.
As an actor and a presence on screen, absolutely. Visually, not so much.
Well, let me say this. You could write a Dracula movie where he would be a good choice.
Yeah, again, it is just like,
I'm open to. That's the thing I was thinking about this movie. Actually, to get it back to this, as always, we are open to variations on the character if they're done intelligently.
If they're done intelligently. And guess how often they are?
Very rarely. It is.
Yes.
We do tend to like the more classic interpretations because they do just tend to be the ones of higher quality. Usually it's like, okay, you had an idea about what if Dracula was this. We're going to talk about Blade Trinity in a couple weeks. And that's a real like, what are you guys doing? Even though we both really like that actor. Dominic Purcell, not a bad choice for Dracula at all. But just,
But the take is completely wrong.
Is way off. And that's a good enough actor that, given a better script, he could have really had something there. But no.
Sure.
No. All
they just really want to reinterpret based around. A lot of times, I understand a creator, a movie maker's flex of saying, I don't want to give you the typical because this is what you're expecting. I'm going to do this brand new take, whether he's a brutish figure or in this upcoming Last Voyage of Demeter thing where it seems that he doesn't even speak and he's just a bat monster.
Right.
I mean, but if it's not done well, you would have been better off sticking to the classic version.
By the time this comes out, that movie will have probably come out and we'll have seen it. But Last Voyage of Demeter at least looks like a good movie, so I'm going like, okay, that's not my take on Dracula, but I'm intrigued.
Oh, I definitely want to see it.
I am intrigued to see what they do with it. It doesn't see, and even to a certain extent, they almost this is what I'm talking about. This is even worse because like Dracula 2000 is terrible, but like there is almost a kernel of an idea of a take on the character in it.
Yeah.
Here he is absolutely, and that's why I'm saying like I want to take this premise where like med students stumble upon a vampire. Toss Dracula mythos out of here entirely. This movie could be an interesting science fiction movie and a real small scale one you wouldn't have to spend a lot of money on. No. As just sort of a claustrophobic horror movie that's like Flatliners meets The Thing.
Sure.
And I'm going to write that right now. No.
From this point on, the movie is kind of like that because, and I'm sure it's also budgetary, everything shrinks down to just back and forth inside this abandoned place where they've set up a study lab and they've got Dracula in the pool. And he keeps going, everybody, the water's fine. Come on in. He keeps doing that and they
don't. Because, by the way, we all know the old screenplay adage of Dracula in the pool, right? The Dracula in the pool scene.
It's sort of like Save the Cat, but it's Dracula in the pool.
Yeah, we put Dracula in the pool. So yeah, they're we get once again. Oh, poor Diane Neal is trying to sell this horrible dialogue when they're just like they're going like Jason London's like, I don't know about any of this, man. This seems crazy. She's like, listen to me. I love that man more than anything, and there is no limit to what I will do to save him. Except for it's so weird that there's no scene other than that bar scene is the only time we really see them together as a couple. Other than that, we're sort of just supposed to take the movie's word that she has this undying love, and I will go to the ends of the. And once again, that could be an interesting facet in a better script of a good movie, where it's like I'm willing to break the ethics of science to save this one. I mean, that's pretty classic, like science fiction stuff. But I just they're in the movies together so little, and when they are, I don't get any chemistry.
No, and so, but the crux of this, why this is happening, is they have obviously somewhere along the line, everyone has put two and two together and like, oh, the regenerative properties of vampire blood, their entire molecular makeup is, it basically brings the dead to life, and you can see it's healing him. So the whole thing is, let's do that for our friend and my lover,
and the
professor.
They take
Craig
a sample
Sheffer.
of his blood and they put it with Dracula's blood, and it does. But the thing that they worry about is, and I think it is Kenny who has the line about like, yeah, but what happens when eventually you replace so many of your own cells? Is it even you, man?
They go, at what point does it stop being you if the vampire cells gradually just take over all the original host cells?
That's like the closest to like, okay, there's dialogue that's starting a theme in the movie that this movie will not in any way continue.
And that even gets followed up on later when the whole thing is that Jason London's character, Luke, is the guy who's like, look, it doesn't matter what vampire cells do. Do you realize this is a monster? It is evil.
Yeah.
And to prove that, and he basically just like he did the thing with the knots and the grains and all that stuff.
Yeah.
He goes to a church, he fills up bottles full of holy water.
Yeah, because
and he brings them back.
This is the one piece of detective work Jason Scott Lee does, is he hears somebody stole holy water and he's like, what was that all about?
Yeah. So yeah, that's the one bit.
And by the way, we know it is because the movie's called Dracula 2, but at this point, it's not till around here that we learn this guy is Dracula. Even he's just a vampire.
And actually, even at that point, no one makes a big deal about it.
No,
and no one's sitting there going, the Dracula.
But I think
seriously,
it's
that's
about
crazy.
Here where he's in that church that we get the flashback to Roy Scheider,
right?
Talking about and fucking Roy Scheider comes in and it's horrible. It's horribly
It's just
shot.
a flashback to vampire kung fu priest goes to Italy.
By the way,
and it's like, I want to...
How a comic book I would love to read, Vampire Kung Fu Priest.
And he goes, I want to see Monsignor, whatever. And they're like, well, he doesn't have time for you. And they sense that's something off with this young Asian Italian priest.
They do talk about, like, you are an abomination.
Yeah, and they're like, well, he'll come out and see you. So he does come out finally, and he's like, don't listen to them. I know you're doing holy work. And here's the thing. Who you're seeking is the original. Yeah. He's the one that started it all. And he does call him the betrayer, and he calls him Iscariot. And it's like, golly, I guess Dracula's Judas Iscariot.
Boy, it sounds like this guy's a big deal. Oh, he's pretty huge around here,
He's pretty big. And if I weren't blind, old, and in Italy, I would totally be with you on your journey.
We get the flashback later when Craig Sheffer's talking about his backstory. We get the one other scene with Roy Scheider, which is literally just him running into a morgue.
Yeah.
And you're just like, yeah, all right, that's it. I got to go do The Punisher now. Because around the same time, I don't know if you remember, Roy Scheider plays Frank Castle Sr. in the Tom Jane Punisher movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty good.
Great.
Well, I mean, he's, I think that movie's okay.
It's okay.
There's some good stuff in there. And I think Jane was a good choice. The script is...
I think, again, he was a good choice. The movie let him down.
Yeah.
They always do.
So they often do. Yeah, less so these days, unless it's called Craven the Hunter. Oh, shots fired.
Oh, snap!
Yeah.
Can't wait.
Yeah, boy. Okay, so Scheider
He's
explains,
out to protect the animals.
Also we see, while Scheider is explaining Dracula, we're cross-cutting with Jason Scott Lee whipping himself in a very Paul Bettany and Da Vinci Code kind of like Catholic. Whatever.
He's scourging. Yeah. It's because the thing is, he is a vampire or almost.
What is he?
But regardless,
why am I blanking on the term? What is he? He's a what's the half vampire thing? Not a
dampyr.
Yeah. I always just want to.
But that's only if he's the offspring of a vampire.
That's right. Yeah. So he's whatever. He's. So
basically,
he's a daywalker. They're ripping off Blade like nobody's business.
He is basically a vampire that refuses to kill humans and scourges himself because he knows there's evil in him. He keeps doing good.
Here is every time he whips himself, though, the lashes
it heals.
Heal.
Nice. Nice.
And he gets some line to the priest where the priest is talking about like you're an abomination. He's like, only God will judge me.
And that's true.
Sure, man. That is the truth. This is a very Christian podcast.
It is. So they have your buddy Randall Pink Floyd comes
Jason London
comes back to the lab with the holy water, and they're like going. He goes, "You don't get it. You can't do this stuff because that is evil." And they're like. And you've got Craig Sheffer, who had earlier said, like, well, evil is an abstract term. I don't know. And he goes, well, how about this? And he dashes the little the slide under the microscope that has the vampire blood with the holy water, and it goes. And they're like,
love this.
I love when Lenny Kenny
yeah.
loses his shit. Is like going, that was acid. You dropped acid on that thing.
You bringing acid on it. Yo, you bringing acid around here, man? You crazy? Like his basically.
Yeah, and he goes, and then to show him it's not, he drinks the rest of the bottle down. He's like, this is holy water.
I'll tell you what I wanted though is I really wanted Kenny to go, you fucking crazy. He's drinking acid now. This guy's nuts.
I'm not dead. It's not burning through my.
I don't know, man. I don't know what you're drinking. I don't know what to believe anymore.
But the whole thing is basically he has proven that vampire, no matter how healing the stuff is, will turn you evil, the vampire blood, and they don't care. So basically,
it really is. It doesn't matter. The whole movie is this basically is Jason London going, I don't know, man. Clearly, kind of a monster. You're dealing in like demonic forces, and everybody's like, eh.
Yeah, and it's like, well, maybe we can figure out a way to distill it where you get rid of the evil part of it and whatever. And they're like, well, let's not give up yet.
Here's the turn that I don't understand, though.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Kenny injects himself with the Dracula blood.
Yeah.
Why does he do that? It seems like he's been the one that's afraid of all this stuff. And then he's the one who had the line earlier about like what happens when you replace all your DNA to become somebody else. And then he just goes, know what, man? I'm going to be an immortal monster.
I think it comes down to at that point, things are starting to go ham. And they're not only disagreeing, there's the physical fight going on. And basically, I think Luke is trying to shut everything down. And hasn't the professor already taken his tumble already?
Yes, that's right. I forgot.
Dracula compels him with just his eyes.
That's the thing where they find Dracula compels him with just his eyes. He falls into the pool. They find him.
He basically rolls his wheelchair up to the lip of the empty pool. Dracula goes, do it. And so he runs his wheelchair off. It basically almost kills him, which is why now they're going, we have to inject him with the end.
Yes.
And Elizabeth is the one going, I know it sounds terrible, but it's the only way to save him. And I love him so much.
Yeah.
And I'm going to use this Dracula blood to do it. And they're like, don't. Luke's like, don't.
Yeah.
There's a fight, and the Dracula blood goes, it's like a hypodermic of it, whatever, goes scattering. And I think the whole idea isn't Kenny afraid he's going to lose the money, lose the whole thing if they lose this Dracula blood?
I think it's something like that. Once again, his motivations are all over the place.
And also, I'm getting all of this, like, it all sort of rolls together. So I'm not sure if this happens before Dracula's escaped or not. But Kenny goes ahead, and he injects himself, and he's like, fuck yeah. Oh, I'm feeling it.
That's the stuff. Ooh, that's the stuff, baby. That's what I've been waiting for.
He goes crazy vampire immediately.
Pretty fast on these transformations at this point, even though
he attacks British guy in the hallway.
Yeah.
And British guy misses with his
harpoon gun,
ever-present harpoon gun, immediately.
Roy Scheider somewhere's going, I would have made the harpoon gun shot.
Yeah, I could have made that. Did you try putting an oxygen tank in his mouth first?
No one has ever considered. But if Dracula 3 ends with him shooting Dracula with an oxygen tank in his mouth and he explodes, then this whole franchise was worth it.
I thought they should have used the same thing they used on Kananga. Anyway, always back to Bond. Anyway,
that by the way is the title of my autobiography. Will be Always Back to Bond.
Back to Bond.
You just got to shoot it with a compressed air bullet.
That's all you do.
Yeah.
But anyway, so basically at this point, Kenny's feeling no pain, and he's like, I'm out of here. So he runs out of this complex.
You do see him run outside. Kenny runs outside, and they do the thing where the fangs descend. He's like, I'm a vampire now.
And he goes, almost doing our friend Nick Cage.
I'm a vampire. I'm
a vampire.
Yeah. Oh boy, this could have used some Nicolas Cage energy in it.
Sure.
In this movie.
But anyway, Kenny runs out, and then he goes up and away and leaps over British guy's fancy car, which causes the car alarm to go off. British guy is chasing him out.
Yeah.
And as he runs by his car, he does go whoop whoop to turn off his alarm. That was my favorite second in the movie. We finally got there.
I agree, because
that was weird
touch. It is the kind that is stuff I love in movies where it's like, why would you put that in there?
There is a life and death chase where he's like, shit, I have unleashed a vampire on New Orleans, and he's running after him, trying to stop him and kill him. But while he's running, his arm goes out to boop, boop, turn off his car.
That's going to annoy some people if I don't shut that down.
I fucking love that. And that was the only thing I liked.
I did also like that. Yes, that was good. Yeah.
But anyway, Kenny's loose, and watch out, New Orleans.
And watch out, specifically, Catwoman of New Orleans.
Watch out, one alley set that they built.
And pretty shoddy even by alley set standards.
Oh my god,
it's very bad.
Again, I know New Orleans, it does have some little alleyways. This thing doesn't look anything like.
No, I had, once again, this is one where I said I had to keep reminding myself, right, it's set in New Orleans. Okay, yes,
right.
Sure.
But basically,
so they say.
he's a vampire on the prowl, and literally he turned into a vampire 3 minutes ago.
And luckily, he also finds this woman and her cat in like 2 seconds after.
Yeah, he looks up to a balcony, and then he kind of leaps up there, and it starts looking in a window, and he sees a kitty cat, and he's like, "Hey, little kitty cat." And the kitty cat's laying on top of a sleeping lady, and then I guess he compels her to kind of come open the window, and then he's on her.
This was Columbo's favorite part of the movie, I will say.
I'm sure it was.
He was like,
hopefully, did you hide Columbo's eyes when we see the dead cat?
Yes,
later?
Yeah. Well, okay. He had already fallen asleep. He's actually right here.
Oh, good.
Yeah, he's always right around the podcast. So
always.
Always. Yeah, anytime there's a cat on screen that you hear like a meow, he is always like, huh?
Yeah, I'm sorry. What now?
No, I'm sorry. Could you roll that back? I didn't hear what he said. That was the only line of dialogue I understood, and I didn't hear what he said. Yeah. So yeah, he attacks this woman. Jason Scott Lee is now after every time. I just kept writing like Lee arrives in my notes because there are like 5 scenes where it's just like something is happening and he just walks in like a badass in his coat, like, so are there vampires to be killed around here?
Yeah.
And that's
he always shows up. So essentially, Kenny killed the lady, basically turned her into a vampire immediately, though. He comes down
before you've got British guy out there poking around with his harpoon gun.
Yeah.
This Catwoman's body just lands on the street in front of him.
I almost liked a slight beat here. So the 2 seconds I liked in this movie both involved this British guy, only because everything is weirdly surreal with that character. Because first thing that happens is the woman's shoe falls out of nowhere, and we don't have context for that yet. So he's looking in that alley, a shoe falls, which causes the British guy to turn around and go, what? He's like in hyper mode just because of a shoe.
I'm so bummed he has a harpoon gun and not a Tommy gun or something, because I would have loved to. No, they can't afford that shit.
But then the woman's full body falls, and that's the whole thing.
It's good. Yeah. It's good.
But yeah, then Jason Scott Lee shows up, and he's ready to kick new vampire ass.
Well, first the British guy tries to shoot him, and he catches the harpoon.
Yes,
like a badass.
He basically says, "Tell the one you captured that I'm coming for him," or something like that.
They're trying.
He goes,
to be
"Where
cool.
are you keeping him?" And he strangles him. He goes,
"You know
it's
what?
over at the pool." And he's like,
"Yeah." There's
Let
an
him know
abandoned
I'm coming
pool.
for him.
I'll tell you this: it's no tell frost. It's open season, all bloodsuckers.
No.
It's just this guy, Jason Scott Lee. He's not bad, but he's not this guy. You need, and once again, the script isn't helping him either. Like I said, it's. I can't entirely blame him.
Yep.
But I'm just saying, like, if they are trying to do those Blade moments of like, you tell Dracula I'm coming, but instead it's just like you tell him that I'm gonna get him.
Yeah, I'm coming for him, so you better watch out.
Jason Scott Lee, the best roles I've seen him in, aside from Dragon, are when you just use his presence, like as a villain in something, or because he is scary looking and big and imposing, and he's got a cool look, but he's not an amazing actor, and especially I think he didn't take off as an action hero because he's not great at these moments.
No, again, he has a presence, but he doesn't. He can't really transmit a lot.
Yeah, that's sort of the thing. So
he's pretty flat.
Yeah, he's better at just sort of being stoic and doing stuff in intense stares and things like that than he is at doing like you tell the one you served, you know.
Yeah.
Because I should love this. Like, this character on paper is aimed right at me as like badass half vampire.
It didn't happen though.
Well, no, because once again he's just a poor version of Blade.
Yeah,
I do love. All right, so he does kill Kenny by wrapping a whip around his neck and decapitating him.
Yeah, he's got the end of his whip is segmented silver blades.
Yeah.
So when he
cool again, concept.
Sure. So when it wraps around, he can literally just with a tug, it'll slice through a vampire's neck and pop the head off. And that's essentially what happens here.
Right.
Pops his head off.
Right. Yeah. Pops that head right off. I will say, the vampire heads come right off in this movie.
Yeah, there's literally not much keeping them on.
No, they just oh shit. He got us again. The one thing we didn't count on, somebody just yanking our heads off. Man, sucks. So he's dead, and then he goes upstairs to find vampire cat lady who's like, I ate my cat, and he's like, shh.
Yeah, she's like, I don't know what I've turned into. I ate my cat, and
he's like, it's okay. I'm gonna kill you now, and it's all gonna be good. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry for your loss.
This is another one of these.
I hope God takes mercy on you. There you go.
It's another one of these moments where they try to do, like, this is a release. I'm doing the Lord's work, and this needs to be done. But it's poorly written, and he's not great in these moments. So
no.
Anyway, back to the pool. Back to Dracula's. Back to the Dracula Aquatic Center.
There is because again I forget where it happens, but there is while he's still chained up, because eventually Dracula does get loose. And he has been healing over all this time, though he's still just very pale.
Yeah.
He's now talkative to some degree.
Yeah.
Elizabeth is now basically like, I just love him so much. That she literally plugs her own arm into his to send him blood.
That's the thing, because they can't extract more blood out of Dracula. Dracula's all dried up. He's all tapped out. And so they need blood to save Craig Sheffer. So she gives a transfusion.
Right. Which will then be cycled through and made into Dracula blood, which they can put into Sheffer.
Yeah.
But while they're doing that, they have the big love scene, fantasy thing.
What I called the mind sex scene.
Mind sex, even though it's not even sexy. In fact, it's like a fucking romance cover, because they have this terrible looking castle thing.
Oh my god, in Dracula's
it's not even like castle. A good matte painting.
But you're telling me, I know they don't have much money, but you're in Romania. There's no castles around that you could just go out and film?
You would probably have to pay for rights to film.
Yeah, there you go.
And they're like, almost all, I'm sure, like local landmarks that are,
I'm just saying, like, look, man. God. I mean, maybe just go out and send a little guerrilla, small crew out there, get a couple, just get a couple establishing shots, and then.
But basically, the whole thing is that in their minds, she has now basically mated with Dracula, and this is where, and he's looking healthy in the flashback, and he's going, I have gone by many names, and then we do quick flashbacks to footage from the original, the Dracula 2000 of here are the coins that Judas got. Here's Judas after he hung himself after the crucifixion.
As if there was any doubt we were in a sequel, right? That's the thing where it's like,
so
don't
we get
worry,
that
you guys.
again.
This is the Lucier Dracula.
Yep.
This is my take.
And it's garbage. So
it's all
but
garbage,
anyway, that
and it's all.
happened.
By the way, not mind sex. I'm sure the director described this scene as sensual.
Oh, also somewhere along the line, Jason London, who there's this unspoken thing that yes, he's had a crush on Elizabeth this whole time, and he's not being a dick. Like, get rid of the cripple guy and end up with me. It's not like that. But it's pretty obvious.
Get rid of the cripple guy, or the guy who's like 20 years older than the rest of us.
Yeah. So he goes into to find her, and she's holed up in the bathroom, realizing that she sees her own veins and stuff. She's like, "Oh God, I am turning into a vampire." And she does fess up to him. And she goes, "Look, man, I think it's probably too late for me because he did kind of bite me. Remember when his tooth and the whole thing in the morgue?"
And this is where she shows, like, look at my arm. It's got all the thing. Look at this.
Yeah. And he's like, "There's got to be
Christ.
some way to help you with that." And then it doesn't matter because at some point, even over protests, she wants to save Professor because he went over the, because he made that fall. So they go in to where he's lying near death, and she injects him with the Dracula blood.
Yep.
Now Craig Sheffer is like, "Dude, I feel great."
Yeah,
and
he
I don't need this chair anymore.
Yeah, he gets up out of the chair, and she's holding him because he's standing sort of weakly. He's like, "No, let me go.
Let me go." And now that he feels really awesome because he's turning into a vampire now, unfortunately, the director said, "This is it, Craig. This is your villain turn. So really dig in. Dig in."
I love this where he's just like, it's a hard turn, just like, "Fuck you, bitch."
Yeah, literally, he's like going, "Ha ha ha! Did you think that all this happened by chance?"
Yeah. And he basically, I'm the mastermind, but also the weird idea about, like, you think I'd be interested in you, a man in my 40s, being interested in a gorgeous 20-something who devotes herself to me? You fucking dummy. Like, just thought,
no one would ever think that.
Yeah, I don't quite understand this idea where it's like, what do you think you could possibly offer me, huh?
Okay, so here's the thing. This is where the monologuing begins.
Oh, it is some real monologuing. And, okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Go ahead. As far as I know, the backstory is this.
Yeah.
I can't remember if he got sick first, but
he didn't. At some point, no, he was fine first.
He was fine first, but in some morgue somewhere, he came across, when he was a doctorate student or something. He came across an actual vampire corpse, and he obviously was like, "Shit, this stuff is real. Wouldn't it be cool if I could somehow decide or figure out how to become a vampire myself or get vampire blood?"
He seemed at least interested. He's like, I had seen the other side, so I spent years trying, and I never found anything.
He literally said that he moved around randomly, and this
morgue
part,
to morgue, like, looking for more vampires.
This is the craziest bullshit I've ever heard.
It's when he started getting sick that he became desperate, right?
Desperate.
Like, his fascination went to desperation to become the thing.
And so basically he then started a pattern of finding female assistants who would,
because he could no longer do the morgue work,
but would also go into morgues, and the second they found a vampire, then the rest of his plan would fall into place.
This really made me laugh because it's the specificity of this. He goes, "You think you were the first? Ha ha ha! You were the fifth." Specifically, he puts you. What does it matter? You like
because it really rubs it in, and he basically says,
I'm saying any writer would have just let you think you were the first. The idea of then having to go, you were specifically the fifth.
Yeah, and also the whole thing is Eric, the British guy, is his lover that he knew from college.
Okay, but is that
basically
confirmed?
Says, like,
because he says he's an old friend of mine from college, but then he's putting his hands all over him. I couldn't.
No. He does go.
Does he say? Okay.
He goes. He goes. The women. He goes. That's not the whole thing. I was using you because this is the only person that's ever mattered to me, and we've been together since college. And he goes. And he was there when I was first getting sick. And someone just walked in.
No, it's my sister. She's all right.
I don't know if you happen to see that, but someone just happened to walk in here.
Yeah. Wait, what? There was somebody here? Oh my God! No. It's all right.
But he also
She'll
goes.
Distract Columbo now.
He goes. He's a very handy man.
Yes. No. It's definitely implied, and also once again, it's just
it's explicit.
It's explicit. It's explicit also just because the director just keeps going like, could you just like put your hands all over him? He keeps putting his arm around his shoulder and going like, this guy right here, this little handsome dude. That's right.
So basically, this is destroying Elizabeth. That's the whole thing.
Also, how unnecessary to add this whole thing too, where it's like, oh,
well, he's becoming very evil because of the vampire.
But it is just the idea that in the script, we're just like, it's not enough that I've been manipulating you, but I'm not even into ladies.
Yeah. Get that?
I was
sick every time I had to put my hands on you.
Yeah, disgusting.
So she's upset, and now she goes, you deserve to die.
That's right. And so, well, that was also something I thought too, is like, maybe play it cool for a while, because like, you're not like, yes, you've got the vampire blood, but you're like, what benefit is it to him to turn her against him like this? I don't know.
Well, I don't think Craig Sheffer in his first blush of vampire health has really factored in the fact that Lord of all vampires is just feet away.
Yeah.
And kind of likes the girl that he just destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
But so that's like, kind of a dumb play by evil genius.
Yeah. An incredibly dumb play. This guy might not be a very good bad guy. So
it turns out he might not be a good bad guy.
Yeah. And then, but no, because, and before that even, she's like, oh yeah? Well, screw you. And she grabs one of the bottles of holy water and throws it on Craig Sheffer.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, I didn't see that coming.
Oh no, what a terrible blow.
Uh-oh.
And then Eric, the British guy, has he also been turned?
No, he hasn't.
Well, he does get turned,
but
because
he gets turned in a very, oh man, something we have to talk about.
I forgot how it happens.
It happens, Dracula gets him.
Well, but he turns before Dracula gets him, because he does go and confronts Dracula.
I don't know when, I don't know when or how he turned. Sheffer must have.
It must have been something very quick, because basically Eric goes up to Dracula and goes, oh, so you think you're cool because you're a vampire now? He goes, yeah, I don't even give a shit about you, because I will have eternal life now that I'm a vampire. And he goes, yeah, but you're not going to enjoy it because of what I'm about to do. And Dracula bites his face off.
Yeah. Which I was fine to just leave it at that. I did not need face full of fangs later, which makes no sense.
Well, none of this makes sense. Dracula's jaw opens up in a bad CG effect to where he's able to literally bite through
if we say there's
Eric's
a CG
entire
effect,
face.
By the way, if we ever say there's a CG effect in this movie, just assume it's bad.
Oh, yeah, just assume. But then we've got, it's a little effective. You've got hollow face Eric screaming, ah. Here's the thing. It doesn't make sense that he would then be... It's the closest to like a
gnarly horror movie kill in the movie, I will say. It's like, oh, that's pretty badass.
But it doesn't make sense that he would then be eternally hollow face guy, because vampires regenerate.
That's what I'm talking. That's why I can't figure out what the deal with his turning is. I don't know when it happens.
And what Dracula's quip is, like, you don't want to be eternal with a face like this that I'm about to give you. And then when Eric has his next, right before he gets killed, he still has the non-face, but he now has fangs poking out all around the edges of what used to be his face, and you're like, that's dumb. He looks like a Venus flytrap.
But you know that Patrick Lussier thought that was so cool.
Oh, you know, he's like, this is going to blow everyone the fuck away.
Well, it's that thing that this guy does a lot, and he did in Dracula 2000 as well, where it's like, you've never seen a vampire do this, and then I go, yeah, but I didn't want to. Like, agreed, I've never seen it.
This doesn't add anything to anything.
He's just going, it's never been done. It's like, and it should have stayed that way. So yeah, Dracula bites the guy's face off, and then it's like, well, Jason London's going, I laid all those traps, so he's gonna have to untie those knots. Cut to, he's already untied all the knots. Ah, damn it.
And he's like, oh, he must have done it when I wasn't looking. And then he goes, well, what about those grains? And he says there's 2 million, whatever. And he's like, okay, well, how about here's some more? And he throws them at him. And then the guy goes, right, okay, those were 2,000, blah, 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 whatever.
It's kind of cool that Dracula can do that, but the thing that's stupid is that you would stand there and wait for the traps to stop him rather than just run away and hope the traps slow him down.
Yes.
Instead, he's like, wait, no, hold on, Diane Neal. He's going to be flummoxed by these knots. We got to watch this.
And basically, at this point, we priest guy shows back up,
and he does
give Elizabeth and Randall Pink Floyd the false hope, where he goes, she hasn't been turned for very long, so it's possible if she gets exposed to the sunlight, it'll burn out the evil in her.
And he's just lying about that, is that right?
I think he's basically like, maybe it'll work.
Yeah, but if not,
later on he does get
accused
of just bullshitting.
Although it's Dracula who says that, and Dracula's not the most reliable source for information.
You're right.
Believe it
but
or
they
not.
do try, because you get Luke and Elizabeth trying to escape, and he's like,
"Oh, we didn't actually.
You can be saved."
We didn't say how that they killed the British guy, because he does have the face full of fangs, and London jams the water bottle of holy water into the opening that was his mouth, and it burns. All right, whatever.
Yeah,
we skipped over that because who could possibly care?
No one.
Yeah. So yeah, they get out of there, but oh no, it won't work because he keeps trying to push her into the sun, London, and she's like, no.
And she's like, no, it's too late. And he's like, no, it's not. And she's like, no, it really is too late.
And this is another moment where I can feel where Lucier's going, it's going to be so tragic when she's like...
Yeah, he's like, this is going to fuck with them because they're expecting the happy ending. I'm not giving them the happy
because it's all to be continued until next time on Dracula. Next week on Dracula. No, because but she does this, and once again, she's a good enough actress that like you're like, oh man, you're really trying to abuse, but she's just like, it was always too late.
Yep.
Great. And so she runs off, and then Dracula and Jason Scott Lee have a pretty lame little fight.
Yeah, that has a lot of, again, bad CG of Dracula doing it's now stock, a lot of the super speed vampire stuff where he ducks out of the way of kung fu moves. And then
Lee starts
Jason
breaking
Scott Lee
the
also
windows.
has kind of like a scythe thing, like a
some
weird
kind of silver
curved long dagger that
the movie doesn't.
He aimed for the neck on everybody else. Dracula, he does this thing in his side, and I'm sure that's meant to be Christ imagery. But he stabs him in the side.
In this movie, biblical imagery? Are you sure?
Yeah.
Non-stop. It is. The scythe also isn't treated very well as like a cool vampire weapon. You don't get a lot of good looks at it. They aren't, so. Yeah, you just are kind of going like, oh, I guess that's what he's wielding there. But
it is a lame fight.
And so he's smashing the windows open. They do a thing where sunlight is bouncing off of the glass and reflecting up at Dracula.
Yes. And they give priest vampire hunter guy like quips that he's not done quips before, so that's weird. And they're also really lame. And literally at one point when Dracula's got him in some grip and he's like, you pretender, you half-breed, or what he's calling him all these insulting things. He goes, who do you think you are? Blah blah blah. To think you could take me on? I'm the basically,
don't you know who I am?
Yeah, and then basically Jason Scott Lee sees a shard of mirror on the ground, and he just says something like, "Oh yeah, well fuck you." Something like that, and then just angles the mirror with his foot to where the sunlight hits it, and it bounces the gleam into Dracula's face, which burns his face. He's like, I
didn't think it was very lame that Dracula went, my eyes! No.
He was like, my beautiful face! No.
The other thing he's doing, because the other piece that's in the Roy Scheider thing is he goes, when you find Dracula, I guess this is why he wasn't trying to go for the neck. He goes, you can't kill him. You have to give him salvation.
That's right. Roy Scheider said you have to find a way to send his soul to God.
But the stupid thing is that already happened in Dracula 2000. That was the end of that movie.
And during this fight, when he's not quipping,
he's giving him last rites.
Yes, and he goes, "Are you giving me last rites? That's great."
That's actually my favorite Dracula beat in the movie is just him going like, "What do you do? Why are you doing that?"
Yeah, and he's
weird.
Like going,
I don't like that.
Go into the bosom of the Lord and all this stuff.
Into the Latin.
And Dracula's like going, I knew him. Yeah. I was his friend. I know him better than you do. At this point, it's like, that also you think you know Jesus? Yeah. I knew Jesus.
I used to hang out with that guy. We were pals. He was my bro, dog.
I have actually broken bread with the Lord.
Yeah, he was. And let me tell you this: they left a lot of stuff out of the Bible because he was pretty wild.
So it's not good.
No, but that because that kind of stops him from just like bringing the scythe down on him as he goes, whoa, you knew Jesus? Oh, right. Knew him. Oh, we go way back.
Yeah.
And then that gives time
it shouldn't be surprising to him because Roy Scheider told him that he was the original.
Yeah, and we also spent the whole last movie dealing with that too. It is just like, are you kidding? We're just playing this game again.
Also, the last time we see Elizabeth in this movie, she's now fully turned and she's got the vampire
the thing
eyes
is, what stops him, that stops him. That like, I knew Jesus, don't you? He goes, I could tell you things about him. It's sort of implying like, this is the guy you worship, but I knew him as the man, and he's not all you think he is. And then he gets hit with Lee gets hit with one of the harpoons, and it's Elizabeth that's done it. And now she and Dracula are like a couple.
Oh, and it's so nice. I mean, the whole movie, I was pulling for those kids, and see them finally get together at the end.
I sort of viewed this as an Ally McBeal kind of thing. She's a sexy young medical student in the city looking for love. She thought she found it with the professor.
He's definitely like the charming older man with the bleach job.
Well, and she was so wronged by her ex, right?
Yeah.
So it's just like, it's nice that she found a guy who really loves her for her.
So now, it just says the end.
Yeah, it is. Lee's there. The last line of the movie, he goes, "I promise I will find you," and Dracula does a ha ha ha. I'm counting on it.
Yeah,
because I'm a count.
And he goes, TBC, to be continued.
And it does. It has that ending where it's like, we'll see you in the next movie.
Only I'll look different.
I'll be an older Dutch man. No, apparently this guy's in it, so there must be some kind of like transformation into Rutger Hauer.
They are doing Doctor Who.
Maybe
it's a whole thing of like,
they did talk.
I got hit by a sunbeam. Now I'm this old guy.
You missed that. I do think it's hilarious, the idea that a young, sexy guy would turn into like an older, middle-aged dude.
Well, granted, Dracula is much like almost 500 years old, so.
But it does seem like whenever Dracula reaching full power is always a return to some kind of youth. So the idea that he would gain more power and become older is fascinating.
Well, we don't know how it happens. It could be through being wounded instead of him getting strong.
I will also say, it's going to be a few weeks because weirdly, though they were shot together, the third one comes out 2 years later.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah. It's a while. But I'll just say this, just as a tease, the first 4 words of Dracula 3's plot description are "in the near future." So there's also going to be a time jump of some sort too.
Oh boy!
So
I hope it's as good as Highlander 2.
Yeah. Oh, I definitely has that vibe.
I hope
about
they
it.
go back to the vampire planet that they all came.
And we get everybody back, and Rutger Hauer joins the fun.
Nice.
So they say. And Tom Kane, that voice actor I was talking about, plays a different character in it. So.
Nice.
Yeah, good for him, man. But yeah, that's Dracula 2 Ascension. Don't watch this. Don't watch any of these. Steer clear of this whole franchise. My God.
I'm not sitting here going like worst. I'm just saying this thing is so goddamn stupid that it makes you angry, and then you realize that's some more of your life gone.
Yeah, worst is tough on this show, but this one is just bad. It's an across the board failure, like you're saying. It just no aspect of it works. And we get another one of these. Yay. But luckily we don't have to watch it for a few weeks. Actually,
what's next week, John?
Next week on the show, we start a whole new franchise. One I know you have some personal gripes with because we're kicking things off with the Underworld franchise next week.
There are a couple of the movies I kind of like.
I like the first 2 or 3 of them. Probably the first 3 I like. 4 and 5 I find to be but
I always sit here with that series going great in concept. I never was really psyched about.
I never was like a big fan, but I enjoyed the first couple. We are going to have Mike Gergoni with us, who will be with us for all of the Underworld movies. He has requested
that's a commitment
to join us and be our Underworld correspondent. So he has a lot to say about the role-playing game that is maybe the same thing or not, or that's obviously where Gergoni's
well, that'll be his little pocket.
So yeah, he's going to be our Underworld expert. Also, he just does a lot of crime, as you know. That's where he makes his money. He's an expert on underworlds of all sorts. But that's going to be next week on the show, which, I mean, certainly will be a huge step up a massive step up from this movie, regardless of what I may think about the Underworld movies. Good Lord. But and also I will say, in the interim, we will actually get Dracula 3000 before we get to Dracula 3.
Wait, how does that work?
Dracula,
it is part of the same series.
It is not. That's the weird thing. Dracula 3000 is its own thing.
I thought it was the capper.
I always thought it was that too, but no. And once again, the person who greatly corrected me on that was Mike Gargani, going like, no, nice. Dracula 3000 is its own continuity, man. And
boy, is it's always handy to have someone around who knows that.
Yeah, and he'll also be on that episode when we get there, because he's like, I think that was the first thing ever that he's like, one day when you get to Dracula 3000, I'm coming on. So,
well,
everything he's ever chosen on the show, I'm like, literally no one's fighting you for any of these. So,
God bless his little heart.
He's a weird little nerd.
Underworld
next week on the show, but that is going to do it for this week's episode of Campbell and Jones Meet the Monsters. I'm John Campbell.
I'm Brendan Jones.
And remember, there are such things as monsters.
See, he turned off his car alarm while he's running after the vampire. He made sure to turn it off.